Seany, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenny Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting zenny.com/gaming. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G.
Hi everybody and welcome back. It is day 2 of the New York Subliners home series, and what a view it is as we will be closing out the day with an absolute banger. The New York Subliners, your home team, taking on the new look Los Angeles Thieves, as it is John's time, making his return for the first time in nearly 2 years. The last time that we got to see this bad boy, this Champs MVP, was actually back at COD Champs 2019 back in Black Ops 4, and obviously socials had a number of different reactions in regards to this move, but you see John saying, hey, ready to compete in the COD League finally, and the fact that it's with the LA Thieves is an absolute blessing, a moment in the making, and I'm ready to make the most of it. And of course, Coach Cap, happy to say, John Slasher back again to carry me. We talked about that run, the champs, the trophy that Envy got to bring back in Black Ops 3, John being one of those players. What the only piece that we're missing is good old Apathy. We absolutely love you, Apathy, but still great to see these guys back together again. And folks, it also is our TiVo weekly drop game. Oh boy, it's gonna be fun. I mean, what? You can text 313131. You have the ability to win a Champs flyaway experience. You get the opportunity to win an all-paid vacation, basically, to go and attend Champs. Yep. Everything is paid. You got VIP. You got everything you could ever ask for. And all you have to do is text Emo Champs to 313131. All right, stud. As we said, the stage is set. The city is ready, and it's nearly time to get into this. How do you feel? Subliners now back with Asim. John now kind of returning, now back for the Thieves. They look toward him to possibly kind of bring this roster together. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm so excited for this match. Everyone knows that I'm New York through and through, but I'm super excited for the debut of John, man. This is a good friend of mine. I've competed against him for years, and just to see him back on that stage with players that he loves to play with. You have Slasher. He's never played with Kenny, or he's never played with Drazah, but he has J-Cap in his back pocket in that coach spot, so it's going to be great, man. I just can't wait to see how both of these teams are able to perform. New York back with the team. I'm expecting them to get back into that championship form level team. But for the Thieves, with John now on this team, I feel like this match right here is going to tell us a lot of what this team is and what this team could potentially be. So I can't wait to see what this match brings us.
Absolutely. Has the ability to bring us a plethora of things. We talked about how much this means for both these rosters trying to get back into shape. Both for the Thieves and also for the New York Subliners. As we said, they came into the Stage 4 Major without one of their guys. I guess you could say kind of the spirit of the team. It seemed to be, rather it kind of seems to be the case. Asim was not able to make it, but now he is back. He's ready to perform, and he's ready to try and bring this team back to where they left off. Let's go ahead and meet your home team. It's the New York Subliners.
First blood, he just jumps on in, a flurry of kills through. Mack, though. Mack gets 3. What a second half of the hard point he had. Nails all 4. The ace for Big Mack. Upward timing, he gets flushed out. But Asim and Mack, that crossfire so good. Asim, all 4, give it to him. Takes down the entire side of FaZe.
Just an efficient work right now. Is HyDra, he has the entire team straight in front of him, gets a couple shots. Now look how much he just slows them down.
Can he get the defuse, player? He does. 23 seconds left on the clock. One more to deal with for Clay. This would be massive.
And there you have it. Let's go New York. It is their home series, and there's a look at your home team. Excited to see this group, but as we mentioned, Stud, it was not the same roster, and you could just tell the team did not have the same energy. They were heavily missing that guy that sits in our top left, Asim, not there for the major, but he is back now, and I guarantee all 3 of those guys could not be happier to have him back in the fray.
Oh yeah, they definitely could not be happier because he is the heart of this team. Like, he's the guy that's going to go out and do all the dirty work, lead the team to success, go out there and get first bloods. He does a lot for this team, so I'm excited to see him back. But I'm also excited that New York gave us a new intro video. I was sick of seeing HyDra in pubs, but finally that video was sick from top to bottom. Even Clayster got his own bridge right there. The big dog got a bridge, but HyDra got a truck. It's okay. It's okay. HyDra, you got your way to work back up. But yeah, man, New York with the team, totally different team. And I'm excited to see him play today.
Absolutely. Excited to see this team play. A roster that has been very firm and obviously is excited to return back in Stage 5. But I guess you could say a total opposite could be said for the other side. This LA Thieves team has experienced numerous changes, 9 different roster changes. This is their 7th lineup so far throughout the season. But I guess, could 7th be the charm? It's time to find out. Let's go ahead and meet the new group. It's the LA Thieves. And there it is, your Los Angeles Thieves. As we said, Stud, some questions coming into Stage 5. What was going to happen with the roster? We talked about the drama that obviously happened at the stage for Major. Decided to keep Drazah and obviously bring in John. As we said, a world champion. He's won a world championship with Slasher as well. Excited to see this group perform. And as you said at the top of the show, a lot of stuff for this team to work on.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of stuff in such a short time, so they have to just get right out of the gates and just be able to perform versus the top teams. But let's just hop right into our keys to victory for the LA Thieves. The 2016 Champs MVP is back, man. John must have a great performance to slow down the SMG duo on the opposite side. We know what HyDra and Asim can bring. John needs to be able to match that energy. Respawns also have to be the top priority. When you're a new team, you're going to think about that search and destroy, but throughout Stage 4, the respawns weren't that good. 1 and 5 in control, 4 and 7 in hardpoint, and also the AR duo has been great ever since reuniting. Both of these players are over a 1.0 KD throughout Stage 4. They need to keep up that consistency to ramp up that output, because if you get those guys to play great and your new SMGs to play great, it's the perfect formula that they're looking for.
Yeah, and hunt for the consistency, not just in terms of game modes, but also from a roster perspective. As now we'll take a look at the other side. Our game fuel keys to victory here for the New York Subliners. Get back on track with Asim, now back in the lineup. As we said, they came into that Major 4 with a lot of questions. Would Asim be in the lineup? Decimate ends up joining the team, and they go 0-5 at that 4th Major. Not at all looking good in regards to hardpoint. Clayster also must return to his peak form. Stages 1 through 3, an absolute beast. Stage 4, not so much, at a 0.91 KD, by far his lowest in terms of performance so far in regards to this stage. A lot of things to be excited about, though, when it comes down to this Subliners crew. And I mean, at one point, when they were kind of at their peak, if you will, in Stage 3, they made it all the way to a grand final. And I guarantee you, this guy Clay, he is just happy to finally have, as we mentioned, that other, I guess you could say, in-game leader type of vocal performance that we look at from a player like Asim, or rather Asim, whatever you really want to label. But as we've mentioned, you can kind of call it whatever you'd like. But excited to see what this roster can do. But Moscow for both the hardpoint and the S&D. We've got Garrison Control and Garrison Hardpoint for 3 and 4. And if it comes down to it, Miami S&D will be our final resting place for this series and for this day. Stud, chances, how likely do you think it could be that we see it Game 5?
I think it's very likely, man, because I feel like these teams are evenly matched up on a lot of these maps. Obviously, New York are a little bit better in both of the hard points, but when you talk about that control, that is where LA Thieves need to be able to show light, because on that map, they are 1 and 6, and on the opposite side, New York are a little bit in a better position, as they're going to be sitting at 3 and 6. So it's not that big of a comparison, or at least a big of a jump, but I feel like these teams, at least map-wise, they'll be able to match up with each other just across the board. Talented players. So this is going to be a great first map, and tells me a lot of what the new LA Thieves roster can be. Yeah,
and I feel like, we kind of know roughly what we're going to get from the ARs of the Thieves. We've seen Kenny, we've seen Slasher, obviously at the start of the season, obviously the previous stage, but I know there's a lot of questions because, last stage it was Tej and Hook, now it's Drazah and John. two guys who've never played with each other. I mean, Drazah for a time was obviously the flex of this team. He's now on a dedicated SMG. I mean, how do you think that those two can work in tandem together, the ceiling potentially of that duo? And I guess also at the same time, what can we expect from a player like John now after 2 years of not being in pro play? How do you think that SMG line is going to look?
Well, let me tell you, it's not like the guy was doing absolutely nothing with his time. Yeah. Throughout this entire year, he was dominating in challengers ever since he made his way back. He was able to at least win 1 playoff, get a second in a couple, but just keeping up that consistent play. So it's not like he's walking away just completely blinded. He knows exactly what he needs to do for this team. But John is able to find 2. And let me just tell you, I'm super excited to watch this guy as he finds 2 kills. 25 seconds remaining on this P1. It's going to force New York off the rotation to try not to drop. But Mack is going to fall. He's going to spawn all the way across the map. And now Thieves are going to put the aggression on.
Yeah, Thieves are going to put the aggression on. And John quickly looking to try to get involved in the fray as he and Drazah combine for the first. And now Clayster toward the back line is going to go ahead and give a little bit of information to his roster about where this push, where this frenzy of SMGs is beginning to come from. A solid P1 to start for the Thieves and much needed answer now for NYSL as HyDra will have his first exchange with John in the game. An exchange that we're very much looking forward to watching how it can only progress. But Kenny is able to drop 2. That's also going to be a 3rd gunfight that Mack has to back up on. And as he falls, the Thieves look to make their way on in, but the Subliners are not happy to give this one away. They may not have a choice. That's now going to be 5 straight for Kenny.
Yeah, so the Thieves do a great job right there, just causing so many problems from New York. Kenny was able to find 3 kills towards that street side, eventually spawns all of New York out towards the front. And now these are able to get this remaining 20 seconds. So now it's all about focusing up the rotation. And 3 players are already going to be on it. 1 player from New York, and Mack is going to spawn all the way across the map. They said, hey, screw this 15-second junk time. We're focused on the next one because it can be a full 60. So gunfights are going back and forth. Kenny able to find 1 as well. So that's going to be 2 New York players spawning all the way across the map. The Thieves have played that beautifully, man. Such a great break out of LAT right there to go into that P3.
Incredibly impressive so far from Los Angeles as they play well at P1. They break in toward P2 and they've started off breaking it open at P3. Our last 2 being Money Hills. A nice advantage so far from the Thieves. A nice little turnaround there from John. He and Kenny, all 4 players on your screen for a moment as LAT are off to the races and Mack not having any sort of answer. We had some questions, talked about Drazah. How is he going to perform? How is he going to come in really with this team, coming from a flex perspective, from a background of that, and now with the dedicated SMG in his hands? And I know he does have that Krig in his back pocket. He is starting things off at 6-2. Already at that century mark are the Thieves, and Subliners are not even a 4th of the way there yet. Can we see another hill dominated by the Thieves, or can Boulevard finally be the turnaround from New York?
And New York need to have an answer here. The only thing is early streaks coming in from Kenny. So that artillery's going to be in. He's working for that cruise missile as well. Drazah was able to find 1. Kenny with the streak. So now the Thieves have the advantage off the rotation. They're going to be fully set up from back bank. It's all about just trying to hold down gold, but doing a great time of just picking up some more time. They're about to put themselves up by at least 100 points. Wow. New York have yet to respond. Kenny's playing so great on a 9 spree already. And right now, the Thieves are looking like a totally different team, man, and this is great to see from them.
And you notice, John, as well, he actually advanced himself up the boulevard, so that will give the Thieves potentially spawns for next, and Kenny is rubbing it in. That's now going to be 11 in a row for him. Died his first 2 lives of the game and has not looked back since. 134-23, and New York have got to be thinking, what in the world did we just run into? What kind of roster is this? Can he make it 12 in a row? Potentially. Yes, he will. Kenny, Kylo, Ken putting on a performance. HyDra finally able to take him down. With a 120+ advantage for the LA Thieves after our first set of rotations. We have got to hear how the communication is sounding. We'll go and step on his side and go to an Astro listening now with the New York Subliners.
One more back. Two back. John, weak. One more. Guys are really weak back. I needed him back. Someone has to go around street.
There's 2 core, 1 globe, one tree, one bus stop.
I'm looking for this guy back. We're
I'm
gonna
gonna go
slide
around.
shot.
Hold this 15. Hold this 15.
One
I'm
shot,
gonna go
good shot,
glow.
good shot.
Deep short dead.
Short,
One
short, short.
one
Should we
one courtyard.
Give me a
One
sec.
courtyard.
Going for
One
glow.
back mid.
Going for glow.
He's underneath the green window. Let's go street with you, Clay.
Got him.
Nice
Nice.
guys.
Come
Make
on
it
the street. Come on.
Work around the back.
Big
I'm
kills.
coming with
I'm
you.
coming.
Go through green.
One green, one green. I'll push someone
Okay.
green. I'm holding window, I'm holding window. I'm
I'm
waiting
sliding
for
to
you
the
guys.
bus. I'm sliding to the bus.
You need
One
green.
pitch me mid. One pitch me mid. Kenny.
Careful.
Top PD, one shot. Got him. I shit on him.
Nice.
Mama,
back there.
fucking
One
go.
mid alley, one hill, one mid
I'm
alley,
here,
one hill.
Paco.
There's
Top
20
of the square. Top of the square.
One mid
Let's
alley,
go,
one
Paco.
hill,
Let's go,
one mid
Paco.
alley,
Let's
one
go.
hill.
He's on top
Nice
of the square.
guys, all bottom PD. I spawned
Yeah,
from
I
white.
know.
I
I'm missing
spawned from
one.
white.
Back PD dead. One more on the back
Bottom
there.
PD, John.
He's one shot. One shot on
Bottom
top.
PD
One shot
and
back.
one. Yellow,
One
somewhere.
shot on the
Yellow,
stairs. He's one shot. One shot.
Yellow.
He went side stairs.
Yellow.
I got another one mid alley. One bottom PD. Left
He's
side.
still PD,
Middle.
bro.
He's still bottom PD. One
We're
mid alley.
running out.
Mid alley, one shot.
Two
Mid
mid
alley,
alley.
mid alley,
Mid alley, guys.
One mid alley, one shot.
They
Paco.
have streaks.
Good win, Paco.
Nice
One
shot,
behind
Paco.
you.
We're coming
I'm hitting
mid.
hold. I'm hitting hold.
We're coming mid.
Watch out.
Middle on you, weak.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit front. I'm gonna
He's
hit
dead.
front.
He's dead. It's fine.
Mack. I'm here, Mack.
Last 3-0. Last 3-0.
Here, Jay. I slid up. Close left, John. Super weak. There's two at old.
Three there. Two hitting front. Right there on your right. Two there.
Let's bring you.
Yeah, playing him.
One for now.
We can
I got
pull
two.
sixes.
I got two.
One might be in the
They
back,
both hit
guys.
front. They
John
both hit
Kenny.
from white.
Okay.
All right, stud. I mean, a quick little gander there at the comms, still down 100. You have spawns for next, and I feel like it did get a little bit better as that hard point went on, but the story remains the same. It is still a very tall mountain to climb, and some more streaks yet again from Kenny.
Yeah, so New York right there, we went in for that listening. It sounded like they were a little frustrated, man. Like, you could hear Clayster in his comms. We need to get this 15, man. We need this 15 because the game is just getting out of hand, man. And finally, they find themselves in a position where they have the rotation. They use that streak, or at least force the streak out of Kenny's usage. So they're able to put some time on the board. It's all about just trying to locate this player in the back, but Drazah is going to be set up off the pinch. That's going to be one. HyDra, unfortunately, is going to be able to find two. But now the back spawn's coming in for the Thieves, man. New York have to try to break in with 25 seconds left. Asim is also going to focus off that rotation. It's going to be a huge gunfight. Wow. Unfortunately, he is going to drop it. And now the Thieves have full setup for that street spawn for that P4.
And how great, I mean, have the SMGs been? We talked about the Thieves. That was kind of the primary question. You know, John, as he beams Clayster there with the 74U, how is he going to play? Drazah now in a permanent role, answering right on cue. They are lighting it up. We're talking about fights for the next spawn, and they are already there thinking ahead. And you just see how hard it is for New York. They're just trying to make, push this throughout the map. They're just trying to advance themselves from one portion of the map to the next. LA Thieves are making them work for every single bit of map control possible. And now back to the Boulevard we go. It was Thieves who just continued to add insult to injury last time around. This is where Kenny continued on his incredible streak. It's at 21 and 11. But as we said, some ladders, they get a few things going, but it is LAT continuing to be up by 100, if not more than that. HyDra doing everything he can to try and make somewhat of a dent. As we said, the SMGs being called upon. HyDra doing everything he can to try and break open this setup. But once again, the door is shut. 196-95. Asim and the boys from New York looking to get set up for next.
You need to play some perfect hardpoint, man. You need to start winning a couple of rotation gunfights that go in your favor, so the game is a little bit easier for you guys. And Clayster doing a great job at least finding two towards the street side. He's going to relieve the pressure on his teammates towards the middle. Asim's able to find one, Mack with the trade. So New York still keeping control of this. The only thing is the spawns come in right for the Thieves. Too much aggression from New York right there. I'm pretty sure it's that #1 player in Asim who spawns out towards that Eskies area, but that's going to set up the pinch for the Thieves now. That's going to be 2 dead. John with some great shots onto HyDra, make it 3. The Thieves were able to break in and flip the spawns with 30 seconds remaining on this. This is a totally different Thieves roster, man. The Thieves roster that we've been waiting for all year, and they are finally showing the potential that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a glimpse. It is just a glimpse, potentially, of what this team can be. And I know, again, it is just the first hard point, but as we said, this team has gone through so many changes, so many roster moves. Now, JCab has taken a lot of flack. There's been so many memes created about how many teams this is. Their 7th lineup so far throughout this CDL season, but maybe this one is it. As Slasher, taking down 5 in a row, gets caught there off the reload, but he will free his teammates up enough and maybe commit what appears to be somewhat of an alley-oop. Less than 15 to go. Subliners, can they try and break on in? That's going to be 3 straight for them, so they will at least hold off things for now. But as you just look at that scorecard, man, I mean, what, Kenny 28 and 16, John +5 right now. You couldn't really ask more from him in his first performance, just to even go even. But what a performance it has been so far from these guys. New York are able to break on in and stop the bleeding for the moment, but what could be the final charge from LAT does get held off. With 20 left, it will be NYSL grabbing all of the leftover points, but it's Thieves there now ready for next.
Now, this is a huge engagement because New York, they could still be in this game. It just all comes down to this rotation, and Mack is able to win the first engagement, so that's huge. John does find a trade, so Slasher is going to spawn all the way across the map, but eventually the Thieves players, they locate all of New York off the rotation. Now they're going to have the spawn. It's only a matter of time until they're able to close this out. Such a great first hardpoint out of Thieves.
Absolutely. Coming toward the stretch. Drazah, John, Slasher, Kenny, everybody going off toward the end as 3, if not 4 fall. And that will be a commanding close to our first hardpoint. 250 to 149. So many questions about how LAT would perform. A number of different roster changes, a number of different roster moves, but what a play it was here from Kenny. Insult to injury as they take a scary hardpoint victory there. So as we said with this New York team, you know, whenever they did lose Asim coming into that stage for major, hardpoint took a hit, and it was a matter of, you know, is it going to be a little bit slow out of the gates, or are they just going to instantly get back to that form? Obviously, we don't really know 100% as of yet in terms of what was the case versus the other. Was it Thieves coming out strong, or was it New York just a little bit slow? But the only thing can be said is that LAT, they are feeling good right now.
Yeah, they just played so well, man. New York, it was just a couple inconsistencies. Like, Asim started off 0-7, and then you see the stat line for Clayster. Both players are -10. The only one positive is HyDra. Like, you need to put up a better performance. Obviously, you're going up against a new Thieves roster. Not as much homework you can do, but you need to have a better performance there. That used to be your backbone game mode, and unfortunately, the Thieves ran away with that one. Great performance from them. Now they put themselves up 1-0.
Much like Kenny, we all take a little moment for a pause and really wondering what exactly are we about to witness. Thieves answering early in the hard point. It is Moscow. S&D up right after this.
Seany, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Seany Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting seany.com/gaming. Get insurance savings and discounts from USAA, the official insurance partner of the Call of Duty League.
We made USAA insurance for renters who make the most of their space and money. That's why we make it easy to cover the stuff you love for as little as 33 cents a day. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for.
What a start to this series. The LA Thieves spoiling New York's party to start, and really the major conversation we have really throughout this series, Stud, is all on this guy, John, right? Making his debut in the CDL, took, I guess you could say, kind of a break, if you will, for that near 2-year period. Now has returned back in the pro scene, and obviously socials very much in excitement to see his return. You see Fire40 said, "We're John fans today." Got people said, "Let's go, John." Cool to CDL to highlight the return of John to the league. Absolutely super happy to, of course, see John return, and I guess you could say it's somewhat of a reunion in this Thieves camp here study.
Yeah, it definitely is a reunion, man. Even if JCap is in the coaching spot, you can just see this. New look Thieves know how to win. This is their roster. They have world champions on this. Slasher, John, and JCap won the 2016 World Championship. John obviously taking the MVP. The following year, they met up and they went to another grand final, but they dropped it there. But then Kenny also, he's been a guy in the last 3 World Championships that we've had, he's been in the finals of 2 of them. So these guys have the experience. It's all about they can put it together in such a short time. And with that response from that very first map, it's scary, man, because if they can look that good in their hard point, it's going to be even more scary to look how they look in Search and Destroy, because that is what Slasher really builds himself upon, and they know how important of a game mode this is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, obviously, for the New York side, that has to be somewhat shocking. Like, I think we were all pretty surprised. I mean, just based off the start of how that hard point went. We talked about the flipping of spawns. I mean, what it was, hard point 1, 2, 3, and 4 that all went the way of LAT. So you have to kind of, ground yourself a little bit and say, okay, is this gonna, remain consistent throughout the remainder of this series? But again, LAT at times, they've teased us. They've had some great lineups so far throughout the year. I know we talked about specifically that stage 2 major run that involved players like Drazah and like Kenny, and we said, man, just excited to see if that can continue into the Search and Destroy now. And I guess the same thing can be said. I know for New York stud at times, S&D, specifically Control, it's not been the one that they've relied on the most. Don't get me wrong, like S&D has not been bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it really was Hardpoint that has been their backbone. And now with the loss here, that has to shake things up a bit, you'd think.
It definitely does, man, because like I said, these rosters basically new. Like, there's no homework that you're going to be able to do, what kind of strategies they're going to try to bring on this Moscow Search and Destroy. So that map number 1 was your backbone. Fortunately, you lose that, so you need to have a good bounce back here on this map number 2.
Definitely. Like we said, hopefully a necessary rebound for the New York side. And as we discussed, really just trying to turn the tide, change a lot of the momentum that has to be going right now for the LA Thieves. A lot of hype coming into this match for both of these teams. And I guess you could say for both of these rosters, we're not fully complete when we talk about the stage 4 major, just considering the quick exchange that the Thieves had to make with their group. And obviously, unfortunately, Asim not able to make it to that stage 4 major because of travel problems. So again, just a lot of different variables working into this match. But again, incredibly excited to see how this S&D can go. And if you're just joining us, it was a Moscow. Pretty solid performance from the Thieves to start. I think at one point, it was like, maybe like 9 and 32 combined for both Clayster and Asim after the first set of rotations. So those two, those two in specific, you're looking at the turnaround. We'll see how the S&D can be, but we're not going anywhere, man. We are staying here on some good old Moscow. In terms of records historically, and I know we talked about at times it can be different rosters. I believe it's 2 and 3 for NYSL, and on the other side 4 and 2 for the Thieves. And again, take your pick in regards to what Thieves roster did what when, what player was involved here, what player was involved there. But excited to get this S&D underway, my friend.
Yeah, definitely excited to see how this one's going to go. But obviously, we're going to have to wait on that.
All good.
This is going to be a quick little reset. We're excited. Even the fans, everybody, even production is excited. They weren't ready for the map to start yet. So, well, let's just get back into it, man. The Thieves, this is the game mode where they're going to have to show like what they're really about. Because Search and Destroy is the game mode that you tend to have to work on when you're a new team. They have a lot of players with a lot of experience, but it's all about if they can put it together in such a short time.
Yeah, and we'll see. There's a lot of things to work on if you're in the Thieves camp, but they have shown, at least in regards to Hardpoint, not a problem whatsoever. But folks, we're going to head to a quick little commercial break as the game is restarted. But do not go anywhere. It's the Thieves up to start off this series. Can New York respond back valiantly with a 1-1 scoreline? Or can it be the Thieves that only continue to roll? We'll be back with Moscow S&D after this.
This is your Scump Team of the Week, a super team built with 4 of the top performers at the most recent event. 3 players were selected by the league and 1 was selected by fan vote. Stick around to the end to find out who made the team. First up, it's Crimsix of the Dallas Empire. This COD OG has won nearly 40 major tournaments over the past decade, and based on how he played across the Stage 4 major, he's not done stacking chips just yet. Although the Dallas Empire ultimately finished second to the Atlanta FaZe, the amount of improvement the team has shown with their new roster has been incredible. When the spotlight first hit Crimsix nearly 10 years ago, he was feared for his ability to brute force his way through teams with his raw slaying power. Fast forward to the present, Crimsix's value comes in his ability to play a consistent AR role for his teammates. It's not really his job to get mixy for the team, but what makes the Crimbot so deadly is the fact that he's still got the gun skill to keep up with the new generation of SMGs should the situation demand it. Next up, it's Shotzzy. This kid is the reason Crimsix can take it a bit easier on the map nowadays. Watching Shotzzy across the Stage 4 major was a beautiful thing to witness. Shotzzy moves around the map with such speed and fluidity that you'd swear you were watching the broadcast at 2 times speed. His unparalleled movement is the key to his ability to play his life in chaotic situations and find those little pockets in gunfights to reset and reposition. There were so many moments across the tournament where Shotzzy single-handedly swung the momentum of the map off a single play to keep Dallas alive through their losers bracket run. There aren't many players with the raw mechanical skill of Shotzzy, so when you combine that with his incredible instinct for the game, it's scary to imagine just how much room he still has to grow. Third, it's aBeZy of the Atlanta FaZe. It's been a pretty standard week for aBeZy. This guy makes the Scump Team of the Week and wins tournaments so often that anything less than pure excellence from him is almost an anomaly. We're always praising aBeZy for how fast he plays or how much impact he brings in the SMDs, and this week is going to be no exception. There were so many times across the Stage 4 major where we watched aBeZy just throw himself at the enemy team, rip through 3 or 4 of them, and push through the map to do it all over again as soon as his opponents respawn. aBeZy was lighting it up all tournament, but we've really got to highlight his finals performance where he dropped a 1.24 KD across 9 of the most brutal maps we have seen so far in the Call of Duty League. And finally, selected by fan vote, it's Cellium of the Atlanta FaZe. Whether you love him or hate him for how he plays, it's hard to argue with his results. Cellium's talents can be easy to overlook when his teammates are shredding everyone on the front lines, but as soon as a couple of his teammates go down, that's when we really see Cellium shine. Cellium's pacing has to be somewhere in between that of his SMGs, Simp and aBeZy, and his main AR Arcitys, and it's a tough job to have to be ready to fill in any of the gaps that might pop up in your team setup, but Cellium truly makes that flex role look easy. His win with the Atlanta FaZe marks the team's 2nd major win in a row and their 3rd major dub of the year. With only 1 more major left before playoffs, we can't help but wonder, can Cellium and the Atlanta FaZe go back to back to back? That's your Scump Team of the Week for the Stage 4 major.
Welcome back once again, folks, to day 2 of the New York Subliners home series. We are hoping to be just moments away, potentially, from game number 2 of this series. LA Thieves taking on the New York Subliners. Just having a little issues working out the French Phenom. HyDra having a few problems, but hey, we're going to figure everything out. Nothing to worry about. And it just, I guess, kind of continues to focus in on what is a very tense series, stud. I know this was, for you and I, a really exciting series. We were told, like, hey, look at the schedule, look at which game 100%. You guys are going to be casting. I was super excited for this for a number of different reasons, and I feel like every time we watch New York versus Thieves, there's always something that we take away from it. And then we talk about John's debut. We talk about, obviously, Asim now coming back into the roster. A lot of questions on how really both of these teams are going to stack up here in Group A. And I know we basically have a small amount of information to sit on, but again, Thieves starting off well. I guess maybe with a little bit of the break that you have for Subliners, maybe a good break for you to take, considering you have the ability to try and wipe off what was a solid hardpoint loss, or rather hardpoint win for the other side, a loss for you. Now come into the search to destroy. Oh boy, we'll see how they can rebound.
They need to rebound quick, man, because that map number 1, it was all Thieves, the entire map. Like, towards the ending half of that map number 1, you saw New York starting to get a couple of 3 pieces, winning a couple of rotations, but in general, it was all control of the Thieves. So this needs to be a response, and hopefully that little 5-6 minute break is able to reset the minds of the Subliners players, because Asim and Clayster just didn't have a good map number 1. So they need to be able to bounce back in this map number 2. Because the Thieves are a new roster, man. S&D is going to be that game mode that you tend to struggle with. And right now, New York, with their complete team, they just need to get back on form in that game mode.
Do what they can do. As we said, Thieves with the early answer. How will Subliners look to reply? As we'll start things off on the attack side, coming in toward Moscow. Again, a familiar territory from our game number 1, but we'll see if the setting has anything to do with it. Most likely, not at all. Regardless, Kenny, opening engagement. He'll be tossing out some fire and at least getting some information for his team. And you notice those white arrows quickly on the rotation, but inside of carpets already is New York. Hoping to get that bomb down somewhat shortly. Slasher for top PD. Again, everybody getting tagged up with bullets, but no one yet to drop. However, that quickly is about to change up as Drazah finding himself on the flank. Nobody watching the backside, as that's going to be 3 in a row for him. The 4th put in the dirt. And how about that flank? Continuous highlight plays from Drazah.
Just such great teamwork right there from the Thieves, because Kenny was that player in towards that top window. He puts down a couple shots onto Mack. Eventually, Mack has to back down and give up full streak control. As soon as that happens, Drazah capitalizes on it, pushes himself through it, finds himself 2, eventually finds himself the 3rd, and just a clean round right there out of the Thieves. If you were New York, you want to try to work that bomb plan a little bit earlier so you don't have so many things to watch, but as they were trying to get that bomb down, the Thieves found perfect timing, and Drazah was able to find 3 on the round.
What a story it has been for Drazah, really since he entered the CDL last season with OGLA. He's oftentimes been called the closing pitcher, I guess, whether or not he wants to have that title or not. He's basically been in that role, coming in for different teams, trying to just make as much of an impact that he can. Really came from Alaska, moved to closer to the States just for this very reason. Be in this exact spot and gets the call to join this team toward the end of the season. High praise. Organization thinks quite highly of him, and for good reason. So much so that we're willing to put him in a spot that he's not the most commonly with. And Drazah does take a few shots toward the upper shoulders. Does manage to stay alive, so impressive stuff for him. That will free up John. Go ahead and get that bomb down. Now time for the 4-on-4 retake.
And you see right there, Thieves did a great job of just not giving up that tree control. So now they were able to just focus on the inside as your SMG players. They find both players. Now it's all left up to Mack and Clayster. Clayster finds 1. Now Mack, the left in a 1v2 versus Drazah and Kenny. 25 seconds left. He's able to spot 1, but the team challenge is going to come in. Another clean round right there out of the Thieves. We thought that there was going to be an opening in their search and destroy, but they are making sure that they are covering all their bases. They take their time, throw their shoulders in towards this bomb site, eventually work that bomb plant, and just held streak control. That was the thing that New York were not able to do on their very first defense, and it works out beautifully right there for the Thieves. That puts them up 2-0.
Yeah, and you see it here. Another hat trick from Drazah. As you mentioned, just great coordination, and specifically it's Drazah. He drops to that opening engagement. How much of a different round this is. Doesn't give John the freedom to plant the bomb. Drazah backs up and then eventually takes down 3 more. Already thinking about streaks is Drazah after just 2 rounds of play. And we'll see how New York looks to answer. It's been somewhat unsuccessful so far at B, and they will in fact try their wits at the opposite side of the map, but Thieves are fully aware of it. Drazah, all that progress doesn't necessarily go down the drain, but in terms of streaks, those in fact do. Kenny with the lovely turn on will at least give Slasher somewhat of an easier position when he doesn't spot HyDra on the bomb. Goes for the quick engagement versus Clayster, so what was a nice snapshot from Kenny will overall be a Subliners much needed round. We'll get to watch this one again, Stud.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, but Kenny found this kill right here. I couldn't even believe it. But obviously, Asim was 1 shot, so Kenny was able to hit some great shots and get that 2-piece. But New York are able to walk away with the round. Clayster was able to open up with that first blood, eventually finds the second as well towards the ending of that round. But that was just the aggression right there from New York. They were winning their engagements and then eventually soloed out a couple players from the Thieves and just played the round beautifully. Good job out of New York to stay alive in this game. Now find themselves down 1-2.
Quick 2-2 split for the Subliners in the 4th round. I guess you could say so far for the Thieves, they have thrived in these positions where the game kind of slows down for a moment. Been able to find themselves behind enemy lines a few different moments, but Clayster is going to get sought after. He will drop for the first blood, and that will be full site control for the Thieves. Nobody yet to drop. A free bomb plant should be coming in here momentarily. And that puts even more pressure on the Subliners to try and find one of these picks. 2 from the front and 1 from the back. And that number 1, in fact, is going to be Asim. Slasher is there. Coordination at its finest from the Thieves. Nobody yet to drop as Drazah will reference back. With that, it puts more pressure on the Young Gun to try and make a play. There goes HyDra. There goes Mack. Thieves once more thriving in the mid-game, as that will be their 3rd.
These are just dominant rounds right here out of the Thieves. Like, they open up with the early first blood. They force Clayster out of his position, so they get that kill. But then they're not rushing this bomb plant. They know it's still a 4v3 situation. Someone is going to try to make a play, and they just wait patiently. Once they find that second kill onto Asim, they know that the other 2 players have to be stacked up. They eventually work that bomb plant, find both of those players rotating through the back of their spawn, and just another easy round right there out of the Thieves, man. They're playing so patient, so methodical, and this is just something you don't see out of a fairly new roster, man. Obviously, they've been putting in work. You got to tip the hat to Jake Cap, man, because he definitely knows this is what we need to improve on, and so far it's showing.
It absolutely is. Very impressive start for LAT. Would not know what to expect from this roster, from this group. And as you mentioned, S&D, not normally a mode that teams are going to be as well coordinated on as the Thieves have started so far throughout our first 4 rounds. But not just been the spray and pray, another first blood. And how about the angle there from Kenny? And Drazah is happy to just go ahead and take a look at Clay. Maybe a possible whack-a-mole moment, but due to losing Asim to start things off, they pretty much have to go toward A, or at least rely on Clayster's information, and really all that is that Drazah's just toward outer bricks. That's really all they have to work off of.
Yeah, it's not really a lot to work off of. With 25 seconds left, no, they know that the pressure's going to be here. So Thieves have 3 players towards this bomb site. The trade does come in, but John finds 2. Now it's all left up to Clayster in the 1v3 with 15 seconds left. John's going to turn the corner. He's going to be able to win the first one. He knows that Drazah's still in this engagement. A couple shots going to come down, but the pinch is going to come in. Eventually, Clayster's going to drop in. Just another round out of the Thieves that they are just making New York work for it. Early first blood going in favor of Kenny onto Asim. You shut down that playmaker. You know, eventually they have to commit towards 1 bomb site, and that's exactly what happens there. The Thieves are just slowing down the game right now, and it's working to their advantage. They find themselves up 4-1.
You saw for a moment, and I doubt it was intended, but John, after finding those 2 kills, just took a little moment for a pause, probably just either to readjust his hand on the controller, but it almost just like felt like he was just like, okay, I'm back. I'm here. I'm ready to stay. A great double kill there to give the Thieves their 4th round. And that nade just whistles past the ear of Drazah. Nearly gets stuck right between the eyes. As we mentioned, the Thieves, they have thrived in these moments, as you called it. Where the game kind of gets slowed down here in the search and destroys, they have liked playing the more methodical style, which again is almost kind of odd to think about, considering this is a new group of players trying to figure out strats, trying to figure out each other. But with that history of being in spots like this, being in Champs Grand Finals, maybe they just know, they just have the feeling of what to do, and they have totally baited out the Subliners, making them commit all 4 players toward A, when in reality they were at B the entire time.
Such a great play out of the Thieves, man, because they're going to be able to work this bomb plant. Now that's going to force a couple players from New York to hit the wrap back. And Asim, he's going to be the only player trying to hold down this A-bomb. But too bad a nade is going to come in from John. That's not what you want to happen there. Fortunately, you're going to be able to get the first blood onto your own teammate. Mack finds 2. Now it's all left up to John in a 1v4. That is super, super unfortunate right there for the Thieves. I guess basically John was on the 5th man for New York right there as he opens up with the first blood. Mack's able to find 2, and then eventually it's all left up to John. Just wasn't a good response. I love the play. But if that team nade doesn't happen, it's a totally different outcome. But now New York, they are able to take the round, puts them down 4-2.
Yeah, John said, hey, listen, guys, the shoulder's a little bit sore, okay? I got to throw these nades. It's been a little while. Don't worry about it.
It's been a long time since I threw a Semtex.
It has, and those things can absolutely fly. As we learned earlier on in the round, Drazah, like we said, had that nade just fly right past them. But here we go. The swing round already in play for NYSL. And a big moment for them, not just in this map, but in this series. Considering how that first hardpoint went. As we said, Control by no means has treated them oh so kindly. One of the major rounds that could define the series on your screens for the moment, as it will be HyDra. Planning things to start. Slasher once more in PD. dropping Mack to start. They've got the well-coordinated push toward the back boulevard, but it's Clayster who's able to answer back with 2. Clayster and HyDra versus Kenny and Slasher. 30 seconds on the clock, but Slasher continues to beam, and Kenny takes down Clayster as well. It got a little bit scary there for a moment. Clay did all he could, but it's Kenny and Slasher, the longtime duo, that are able to give the Thieves their 5th and most important round so far.
Yeah, that round just can't happen. Like, that was a mistake from New York right there. If you're Mack, you cannot drop on street. You cannot give them early first blood because then they have the man advantage when they're trying to attack in towards the center side of the bomb. As soon as Mack dropped, someone else dropped, so Clayster had to get a 2-piece to at least even up the numbers. But then at that point, it's all about a rotation game. Slasher took his sweet time in towards top police to catch HyDra off the rotation. And then his teammate found the kill onto Clayster as well. So now the Thieves find themselves at point game, 1 round away from closing this out. And if you're New York, man, it's just too many mistakes right now, man. You need to clean this up so you can at least stay alive in this series.
You see, honestly, more of a methodical round, maybe a very fast and aggressive round, maybe a headbutt at that as 1, make it 2 there for Clay yet again. Drazah there for the reply. He's got to do it all himself. A great double to start for the Subliners. It just continues to be this conversation stud of fast-paced, normally working out in favor of New York, the more methodical, slow-paced style favoring the Thieves. New York, a great read here. Toward that Esky side, they're aware of it, and once more it is Clayster doing everything he can to try and rally the group back. Sits at 8 and 7, having to do a lot of work to try to send us to that final round 11.
Yeah, and on this round right here, the way New York needs to be playing the search and destroy is just non-stop aggression because the Thieves, they're slowly picking up apart every time they take their time. So a 4-man push over towards this A-bomb is exactly what you want to happen. So it's going to be an all-out bloodbath. Drazah's able to find 1. Drazah's able to find 2. Drazah's able to find at least almost a 3rd. Now it's all left up to HyDra in a 1v3 situation. The aggression was just matched right there from the Thieves, and now HyDra with a tall task ahead. He does have the bomb to work with, so this bomb is going to go down towards B. This is the best possible play he can definitely make happen at this point. Now it's all about just defending it for 45 seconds versus 3 of the best Call of Duty players in the world. So this is going to be a difficult task to get done.
So you had me sold for a moment there, stud. You had me sold for a moment. Then you just brought up the fact they're 3 of some of the best Call of Duty players in the entire world, which is absolutely accurate. HyDra, good luck, my friend. And there will be the ace for Drazah. The Alaskan Assassin going 13 and 3, giving Slasher that free bomb plant. And that will close out our game. LAT answer back from the hardpoint victory and now continue their run, their momentum into the search and destroy. Watch this one back. It's not just 1, it's not just 2, but it is 3 from Drazah. His 3rd, I think it was 3 hat tricks in this game. And on top of that, also in his 3rd hat trick, ends up finding the ace. Incredible performance, goes 13 and 3. Wonderful, wonderful plays coming through from Drazah.
And I'm telling you, if you're Mud Dog, if you're a J-Cap sitting in the backside, you're smiling from cheek to cheek. This is the best thing that could have possibly happened to this Thieves roster. They're up 2-0 versus a top 4 team in the game in New York, and they have dominated at least in the first 2 maps, man. They're playing really well. I wasn't expecting that much success in their search and destroy, but they had the game plan. If we slow down our play and allow New York to make a couple mistakes, they're going to play into the game that we want them to. And that's exactly what happened as the Thieves were able to close that out in a 6-3 fashion, now find themselves up 2-0. And this is where it gets scarier for New York because Control so far, ever since that Major 3, it hasn't been their backbone. This is a game that they need to work on. But the good thing is they're going up against the Thieves roster who are 1 and 6 on the next map. So this could be the potential bounce back that New York were looking for.
Absolutely, man. In desperate need of a bounce back right now. As we said, going down 0-2, the Thieves just look to be firing on all cylinders. We talked about a number of different guys who have really, really performed. And as we said, John, Drazah, the question marks on this team in regards to the SMGs, they have performed today. Well, folks, like we said, we've got a few games still to come, but we got to talk about. Folks, make sure to do it. Like we said, Teemo Champs. Text it to 313131 for your chance to win a flyaway Champs experience. You have the ability to get get VIP. You get all the opportunities, a full paid vacation to go to Champs. You couldn't ask for much better than that. You want to join us, join the players. It's gonna be an absolutely fantastic time. As we said, make sure to go ahead and text that. But Folks, we also got to take a look at our U.S. Army tactical play. Take your pick, and I have a chance it has something to do with this man, Drazah.
Yeah, it was just an early aggressive from Drazah. He actually found 2 kills, but some good shots onto Clayster to pick up that easy kill for Slasher on towards that last player. Now it's all up to the HyDra. Drazah was able to find the 3rd as well, man. In HyDra in this 1v3 situation, the best play you can do is try to plant this bomb and defend it for 45 seconds. But when you're going up against 3 of the best players in the world, it's going to be a really difficult task to get done, man. As HyDra, he was trying his best. He was playing the clock beautifully. But then Drazah, slow and steady. He knows how to play the search and destroy. He knows that in these situations, the player has to make a play. He has to either wrap the bomb or at least find a 2-piece, and just plays it beautifully, slows it down, and is able to find that kill in the HyDra, which gave him another 3 kills on the round. 13-3, man. This is why they kept this guy. This is why they kept him, and it's a good showing from him so far.
Absolutely. Has to feel good if you are an LA Thieves fan. So far, have spoiled New York's party. It's their home series. It is their first match of it. And so far, they find themselves down 0-2. Can they reply back in the control? We will find out when we come back after the break.
Seany, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Seany Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting seany.com/gaming. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G.
Who's most likely to get arrested?
Are you ready?
Alright, 3, 2, 1, show it.
What the heck? See, my answer, it makes sense because he, you know, something's got to happen with him illegally entering the United States, right?
My answer is the correct one.
Who shows up to scrims late? 3, 2, 1, show.
It's a unanimous decision.
Who's the best looking subliner?
Yeah, but
you bet Tom too?
You?
No.
Oh, you're so ego.
No.
You're so ego.
Okay. No. Okay, Tommy. Sorry, I agree with Tommy.
Hi everybody, and welcome back. You are watching the New York Subliners home series. Folks, this also is our Timo 5G weekly drop game. You can text Timo Champs to 313131 to be entered to win an all-paid flyaway experience to Champs 2021. You and your guests will receive front row tickets, airline, hotel, VIP backstage experiences, and more. Again, as we said, text Timo Champs to 313131. I want to see you there. Study wants to see you there. And it's going to be an absolutely unbelievable experience, a phenomenal way to cap off what has been an unreal season. All right, stud. We came into this with high hopes. I asked you to start this one off. How likely is it to see a Game 5? You said, hey, it very well could be very likely. But the big question was, how are the Thieves going to perform? And so far, they have performed fantastically. They came out strong on the hard point. They answer well in the search and destroy. And now we're talking about Subliners in control. And really, since adding HyDra, it has not been the game mode for them.
It really hasn't, man. 11th ranking ever since adding HyDra. Like, HyDra was that guy that he just brings raw talent, like the slaying ability. That's why their hardpoint was able to shoot through the roof. But this is a game mode that they tend to struggle with, man. You have to know how to play your life in certain situations. That's the thing that they tend to struggle with, is when they need to challenge and when they don't need to challenge.
Yeah.
And hopefully today they need to respond here, or they're going to end up getting 3-0'd. And this is going to completely change the way that I look at this team, because you're the team that I was expecting to come in here and dominate, because the Thieves are coming off of a fresh roster change with basically two brand new players, like John at the submachine gun and then Drazah at the SMG. We only saw him play one match at the major, but it's fairly new to him, man. So I'm expecting a lot better things out of New York, but so far they haven't shown it to me, man. They need to have a response here to stay alive in this series and at least keep them in the top 4 conversation, because this is unbelievable performance right here at the Thieves on the first day of play. Man, New York need to respond here.
And I guess, I mean, what's that? I mean, if this is a 3-0 win for Thieves, you know, we're already talking about it, does that 100% knock them out of the top 4 for you, for Subliners in that conversation?
For New York, I think so, man, because I think they would drop a little bit lower. Dallas will go up. OpTic will probably go up a little bit. And then the Thieves will be sitting right underneath New York. Even though they're going to be able to win this series, I still find that Thieves have a lot more to work on. So they're going to be sitting in that 6th spot. But New York, they need to show some life here.
They absolutely do. They have to show some signs of life. And as we said, control really has not been the mode for them so far. We talked about that record, and I guess you could say, so what really has been the problem, you think, with the Subliners control? What really has been the primary issue that you've seen since they did add HyDra to the roster?
It just all depends on how much map control they can get and when they are getting these kills. Because sometimes one player is able to get a 2-piece, but he will fly out and try to get the 3rd instead of playing his life, which is the better play. It's just all about just getting on the same page, and that's just something that they have struggled with ever since HyDra's entered the building. And hopefully, throughout Stage 5, they can improve on that to get back to that championship form.
Without a doubt, we talked about teams trying to get on the same page. One of those rosters we had questions about was going to be the LA Thieves. Let's go ahead and step aside and listen in with the communication, though, of this roster. Our Astro listening with LA.
Got it.
There's another there.
He's weak on me.
One got off B. He's
I'll top of tank. I got him. Nice, give me a brick. Short.
Yeah, he came out short. He's in the box, man, the box.
Challenge.
He's not looking at you.
Mid Asim, watch out P5.
Literally
bullet P5.
I got green.
Yeah, I'm going fence corner.
Hey, square. Top green Clay. He's already in there.
Square. Look at my right.
Already in green Clay. He's slow playing up. Slow playing.
Hey, one square. Okay.
Where's he going?
Yeah, square. Bricks.
Nice.
Asim's there. Yeah, he's short. Weak. Hit it. Top the green. Last two.
I can look at
my green.
I'm looking top green. Corner Mack. Weak.
Right corner done. I'm a ball.
I'm getting on there. Let's go.
Yeah, flat dead.
Nice.
Yo, shit.
One's back left, I think.
Loading dead.
Mid-truck.
I'm looking at
mid-truck, Mack.
Nice.
I think he's back right somewhere.
That's four. That's all. I'll spawn. I'm
HyDra's one shot back.
Yeah, back. We went
Back mid, Mack, one shot.
On me play.
Clay, one shot.
Yeah, I'm popping you.
A 9-team streak right now for the LA Thieves. That quickly does get spoiled, but John trying to make some work happen toward the backside of shop. It was decent off the start for NYSL, but stud ever since then, it has been all Thieves here in this round 1.
Yeah, Thieves have just dominated the map control, man. They're already up by 5 lives, even though New York already have one segment completed towards the same point. They want to try to get this job done. The only thing is they allowed the Thieves players to sink a couple kills together as John was all the way pushed up in their base. Slasher's already going to be on a 5 spree, so you don't want to try to feed him streaks and flood out towards top green. It's all about working through that middle bricks area, and right now the Thieves are fully set up for that push.
It's a very well-aware team are the Thieves, and as we said, we would have given them so many passes to not kind of be in this position. I mean, you could have given the Thieves so many different passes to say, you know what, this wasn't in coordination, this wasn't, you know, as good as it could have been, but they have been lights out in regards to their coordination so far. But NYSL making a good push, potentially break this one open. But John, one of the final layers here, he does end up getting taken down, is that will be 2 subliner players there onto the point, both Mack and HyDra. The rookie's looking to hold things down as the old guard will finally join alongside of them. Can anybody from the Thieves get here in time? Drazah is there for a moment. That coordination finally does get found out. Thieves making some good adjustments, but it's the Subliners with a great coordinated push toward the stretch. They make their way inside of green, and they're able to grab those final 2 ticks there at that A point.
Yeah, so it was all about that mid-map push, and that was just such a great play from New York, because once they found that first kill, they were able to find the second. And then they know that the last 2 players have to be on point. Eventually, the pinch comes in. They eliminate both of those players, with a couple players dropping on their side, but still enough numbers for New York to be able to close out that round and walk away with the very first offense of this game. Mack currently sitting at 8-4 on a 4 spree. Stepping up so far in this second respawn because, like I said, Asim, Clayster, and Mack were all negative in that first hard point. But Mack really responding well in this map number 3.
Big Mack turning things around. Streaks would be great. Already in that conversation, something to think about. But quick trades off the rip, favoring the Thieves for the moment. John very well aware of this mode of control. Last time, like we said, that we got to see him, that was involved back in Black Ops 4. But HyDra in from the vents he comes. That's going to be 2. Nearly makes it a 3rd. Drazah there on the return. Thieves looking to try to break outside of their base, but it's the SMGs through middle. It's that mid-map presence. The Thieves have really yet to harness so far throughout this round 2. Asim goes for a quick little heat check and then realizes, maybe just go ahead and hang back a little bit. These guys have been much better than expected, much more well-prepared than we would have thought originally. And HyDra continuing to be a menace there on the flank. He's able to cut down another 30 seconds left, and LA looking much more slower paced and much more out of breath, I guess you could say. So far throughout this control, offense yet to get anything going, but maybe this could be the time. Slosh are able to halt things for a moment at A.
And they're doing a great job of just finding these kills around this area as well as they find another 3. So Mack is in a position to try to at least contest this. But Asim with some great shots on the Slash is going to be able to eliminate him from that point. John and Kenny have a tough task to get done here, but John's able to find one. It's stalling enough time for his teammates to eventually get on towards that B point and start picking up the progression over on that side of the map. As New York, they're going to have full top green control. Clayster still winning an engagement. Mack as well. So now they are able to fight for that map control. It's all about eliminating this player from that point. That's going to be 3 down. Last player is going to be John towards the middle of the map. They find them a clean 4 down. Now it's all about holding them in their spawn, and New York have full map control.
Yeah, they get them right back where they want them, do the Subliners. And for a moment, it looked good, right, for the Thieves. They appeared to have some sort of a push going. They had both A and B contested for a time, and Subliners just begin to go on a streak. Great teamwork coming through from this group, as that will be their 2nd round in a row. And I don't know, man, like we mentioned, like we came into this series, talked about Subliners. The big emphasis was probably going to be on the control of all modes, and so far to start, they've looked much better in this one in comparison to the other 2. And I guess, like, I mean, what, when we talk about adding a new player, I mean, what it is going to be search and destroy that takes the biggest toll, but how difficult is it when you do bring in a new player? You do bring an entire new SMG line for the Thieves. Is it in a mode like this?
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult, I guess you can say, in Search and Destroy, but it definitely has its parts to play in the respawns in general.
Sure.
Because you have to learn how the guy plays, man. You have to learn what routes he likes to take or how aggressive he decides to play. And that's something that we're seeing right now from the Thieves, is that even when they're getting a couple kills, they still find themselves in a situation where they're struggling to make these decisions on what they want to get done. So with overdue time, they would definitely improve on that aspect. But as of right now, just the performance that they've shown throughout this series so far, even being up 2-0 versus New York, you got to tip the hat to this guys, man.
Absolutely have to. Thieves was looking to try to put at least 1 round on the board, and that's going to be 2 in a row there for NYSL, getting the answer early and also finding a nice little kill there on the fire barrel as Drazah angrily will be headed back to the respawn screen. Not ever fun to be taken down like that. And already it's Asim starting to get more in his wheelhouse. Somewhat of a slow performance in the hardpoint and the search and destroy. And I guess it's fair to say, you know, he obviously does have that break, doesn't play at the stage for Major, goes from being, like we said, like the lifeblood of this team to basically being their #1 fan from home. You could expect him to have a slower performance, just trying to get well adjusted. It appears that New York feeling much better, much more confident. And right as we begin to say that, they do capture the B point, but Thieves with a great reply. A minute and 40 on the clock, but it's not going to be easy to shut down what has been such a solid subliner so far throughout this control, but Thieves holding well so far.
Yeah, and this is the hugest part right here for New York. Is even if you're trapped into your spawn, you don't want to allow the Thieves players to try to get on any streaks. And that was a good answer right there as they find all 4 players. Eventually, they're going to be able to get on this point. And HyDra actually worked himself towards an artillery. So they're just going to flood out towards top green. They're going to stall the players from the Thieves to stay inside for a little bit longer. So the progression is going to go a lot quicker. Kenny's able to find 2, though. Like, that is where the break is going to come in. HyDra is able to find 1, but the Thieves, they're able to respond. They get the streak usage out of HyDra and stay alive in this round.
Yeah, big moment there for the Thieves. As you mentioned, for just the future of the game, the Thieves can walk away with this round, just not having to worry about one of those streaks. Could definitely provide some more peace of mind. Is Drazah still playing solid now at just -1. Great performance so far throughout this series from him. Is the game for a moment. Quick little stall, in and out. Asim going to catch Slasher there on the railing. And back toward this A point we go. A head-on-head battle, and it's Mack who's able to find his 4th in a row. Makes it a quick double and also tags up John for good measure. And this is going to be the stack. Thieves, can they get anybody in here? Can anybody make someone of a run? It's John for a moment. He gets dropped. Slasher cannot get here in time. And the necessary reply that you had to see from the Subliners, they are able to bring it back, and they look much more confident, much more well characterized, I guess you could say, Stud, so far throughout this game. The team just looked to be more on form, and I guess you could say just in general more like themselves throughout these 3 rounds.
Yeah, you could just say that the first 2 maps, they were warmed up. But right there, you could just tell New York really came out to play, man. They just dominated that control right there. They open up with the first round. They win their offensive round. Then they come out in the defense, and they take that one as well. But they walked away with 2 offensive rounds. And that's where you can just tell that the Thieves are a fairly new roster. Because if you lose 2 defenses on control, you're basically asking to lose. But you can just tell they have a little bit of things to work on in that game mode. But the improvements from New York in that one was huge, man. Just the patience that they showed, especially in that very first round of offense, came down even with the lives disadvantage. They knew all we have to do is just find 2 kills and eventually set up this pinch. And they work it perfectly, and they were able to close out the map in the 3-0 to stay alive in the series, now down 2-1, forcing another hard point.
Yep, 3 up and 3 down. As we mentioned, the Subliners get a much needed reply here in the control. It was one that we didn't expect them to really be the best at, but now that's the mode that they rely on to at least send us to this game 4. Folks, grab yourself a bacon, egg, and cheese. It is about to be a banger. Garrison Hardpoint is up right after this.
Which CDL team would you smoke in a matchup?
I put FaZe.
FaZe?
Yeah. They suck.
Damn, Paco just went like that.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I was serious.
I mean, that's a real answer.
Next one is who has the best aim. Right,
Hold on, I was gonna put Paco, but
He shoots pretty straight.
Yeah, shoot straight.
Oh, let's
That's
go.
all he can do.
Shoot straight.
Who do you love the most? 3, 2, 1, go.
I gotta give him some love.
I was gonna put Bobble and
give him some
JP.
love.
I was gonna do that.
I'll put everyone. I hate you.
I know you
Yeah.
do.
Ask the question.
Don't put everyone.
Ask the question. Who hates the most?
There's steam coming out of his ears.
What the heck?
Oh man, we absolutely love the content that comes out of our franchises, New York. Just a number of different great videos. But let's go and shift the conversation a little bit, Stud. Now to Clayster. I mean, what? Kind of coming into stage 5, really? The last stage wasn't his best, my friend. I mean, what? There was a time where we were talking about how Clay, one of the best players in the game, and still earns that title. But stage 4, as you can see here, definitely had one of the bigger drop-offs.
Yeah, stage 4, you just got to keep in mind, there was so many things that New York was going through. They had to worry about if Asim can make it across, if they would have the potential same team at the major. There were just so many things. So his stats dropped off a little bit because Clayster, he is that guy for this team. So when his players are not going to be in a position, it's going to stress him out a lot more, man, because he's the guy that's going to be leading the troops. But now that he has his full team, there's no excuse. You need to come out and you need to perform. And the way that he performed in that map, number 1, just wasn't great. Him and Asim were combined for negative 20 or 21 or something like that. You need both of these players to really step up on this map number 4 to force it to that map number 5.
And I guess based off what you saw there in the Garrison control, we'll be having Garrison Hardpoint up next. Did Subliners show enough to you that you think that we really have a real potential to see that game 5? Or do you think it's more of just the Thieves being slow in that mode in particular? Which way do you think this one goes?
I think they woke up a little bit on that map number 3. You could just tell a couple engagements just going in their favor that time around. A lot of 2 pieces, a lot of 3 pieces, even playing your life in certain situations for New York. So they're looking like they've woken up a little bit. I expect this hardpoint to definitely be a lot closer because both of these teams enjoy this map. On one side, you got New York who are sitting at 8 and 5. On the opposite, you have the Thieves who are sitting at 6 and 4. So this is going to be a bloodbath. You just cannot have a slow start if you're New York and allow Thieves to run away with it early.
Yeah, much like they did in our first hardpoint, it was really all 4 hills on Moscow going the way of Thieves. Not afford to have another slow performance here out of the gates as HyDra quickly and firmly inside of the middle side of the map, looking for anybody that he can devour. That will be the nice little first blood of the game. Regardless, Thieves grabbing the early points, but you can see from the Subliners, they want to express that aggressiveness, and aggressiveness is what they will get. But keep in mind, player 6, Drazah, all right, gets the cheeky little spawn there.
Yeah, so Drazah is actually going to spawn behind, but Asim does a great job at just picking up that information and eventually finding that kill. So New York, a completely different start. That's going to be 4 dead for New York. Make it 5 in a row for the Subliners. These are trying to force their way out of this back spawn of back P3 because top green control right now is in favor of New York. They're going to be fully set up for that P2. And they're getting a remaining junk time on this P1 hardpoint. It's a good chunk of time here. But the main focus now has to be off the rotation. And right now, winning a couple engagements is going to be New York. They're going to slow down that push from the Thieves early.
Yeah, and really just a very well-coordinated start here from NYSL. Once again, Drazah getting a nice spawn there toward back tanks. We'll see if Asim is there to deal with him this time around. No, that's not going to be the case, so Asim drops. Same thing with Slasher. He finds a kill from the front, so it will be a 2-on-2 into the point. It's actually have to be Drazah all by himself. That's going to be 2. That's going to be 3. What a break that is from Drazah, keeping his team in this hill and will buy his teammates some time, coordinates the spawns, and how about that? Drazah opening things up for his teammates as the Thieves will now be able to hold down some control in P2, but the Subliners are not happy about that. They're quickly looking to try and challenge from multiple perspectives. Getting shut down at the door, though. Clayster is able to find the first. John there for the quick trade, and like we said, Drazah opens up the play, and now it brings the Thieves within just a few points.
Yeah, so now the Thieves have to focus off the rotation to try to get in towards P3, and that's going to be an early response. The only thing is Asim's going to hold this cam. He's going to spawn right in the back. So now the pressure from the Thieves is going to come in through the middle of the map. Kenny not having a good start to this game, neither is Drazah. When you're playing from the back foot off the backside of the rotation, it's going to be pretty difficult. HyDra finds one Slasher with the trade, so now the pressure is in towards this middle Hulk tank, but Asim and Mack are able to find 2 to relieve that pressure from the Thieves players towards this middle of the map. Time is just uncontested right now for New York. They're just racking this up, getting closer to that 100-point mark.
I mean, we could say it too, like if Drazah doesn't make the play that he does, what does the score really look like at this point in the game? Doing everything he can, somehow finds both Asim and Mack, who I believe were both one-shot, but nonetheless, a few good kills. But really, so far, I think Kenny's starting things off like 1-7, 1-8. Drazah, despite those 2 kills, not having the greatest of performances to start off some Garrison. We know this group, being the veteran type of roster that they are, they're not going to get shaken. They're not going to drop. They thrive in moments like this. As they look to try and rebound, now toward bottom floating. Players from multiple angles. Clayster, the one that will get found out. So the backside tank spawn in favor of the Thieves for the time. And top green will only continue to make things problematic as the Subliners struggle really just to get out of their spawn.
Yeah, and you know, the crazy part is, before this hill even popped, New York did have the spawns. They forced a couple players from the Thieves to spawn out towards that back B3. They had top green control, but off the rotation. They lost those gunfights, and now that allowed the Thieves players to get fully set up for top green and get themselves back into this game. New York with the remaining 20 seconds in their favor, picking up kills left and right, but they should have been able to hold this down a lot better and not allow the score to be so close the way that it is. It's going to be 2 players picking up kills on the side of the Thieves, but New York doing a great job of just evening out the numbers, picking up this remaining time and just growing this lead a little longer.
Yep, looking to try to extend any kind of advantage that they can. As we mentioned, that first hardpoint was a forgettable one. If you are a player like Asim, and as we mentioned, just kind of getting brought back to this team, was it a slow start? What really was it? He was the biggest fan for the Subliners at that stage for Major, and as we said, we learned a lot. I think it's fair to say about the Subliners and about Asim's impact on this team. Really seems to be the spirit, the lifeblood of this group, and they absolutely hurt without him in regards to their hardpoint game. What they went 0-5, currently actually sitting on a 6-game losing streak in hardpoint, considering how the first Moscow went. But it's fair to say when Asim's in this team, he's communicating, he's firing. That's when this roster turned things around, and you see him right now at even, and the Subliners remain competitive.
Yeah, so New York did a great job of just not giving up this remaining time. And this is something that teams have developed to be great at, is to chain this P5 to that P1. They're winning a majority of their gunfights, so they're going to consistently keep those spawns for the Thieves towards that back tank. So they should start initially with some time off this P1. Mack in a great position to find one. He's just going to be a nuisance in towards Bricks as he finds the second onto John. The third is going to challenge him as well, but it's going to get traded as HyDra is in a position to at least pick up that kill. But now the flip is still not in. Still see the position and out of HyDra, just trying to hold down these spawns while his teammates are getting a lot of time off this B1.
HyDra continuing on that spree. Mack finally does get silenced, but again, it just set up HyDra to continue on with this streak. Now earned 7 in a row. Beams Kenny there from Lights, and no pun intended, but lights him up. John looking to try to take down this French Phenom. Says, who really is this guy? Finally silences him for a moment, but it is a straight beams back and forth. 15 seconds left on the hill, and NYSL look good. You grab every single second, but again, when we talk about this next rotation, a big 1 versus 3 fight, Clayster looks to try to hold down the group, but that one is not going to happen. A big hill here for Thieves, and taking away Clayster is going to make their lives that much more easy and trying to even up this scoreboard.
You just got to keep in mind that HyDra was able to earn that artillery. So they're just going to try to flood out towards top green. That's exactly what's going to happen as the streak's going to come in. Kenny does find one. HyDra does find one with the streak, but Drazah with some great plays. He jumps out of the map, and he's able to stay alive from the streak. Finds 2, trying to find the third, but Kenny's able to hit some great team shots to eliminate that last player in HyDra. And that's just a play right there that New York wishes they can get back, man. When you use that artillery to fly out of top green, you need to be able to get this time and at least keep the spawns for the next. But Thieves right now, they're winning a majority of these gunfights, man. They're going to be able to at least get this remaining 20 seconds. Now they have to focus off the rotation, but they have taken the lead. Drazah's already on a 4 spree.
That's on the 4 spree. Like we mentioned, New York, they've woken up, and now it appears that Thieves, they've woken up themselves. Maybe a little
he's
bit,
twisted.
Yeah,
He's twisted.
Maybe a little bit too much for Drazah. Shooting at barrels, shooting at boxes. See if he can take down the vet, and he will. Okay, takes the calf along with him. Nice shots, Drazah. Now 5 in a row. He looks to lead the charge. He doesn't even care at this point, but unfortunately for him, that's going to be himself. Slasher dropping. New York winning the early engagements to start. See what Thieves can do. A big hard point now for the Subliners. Majority of time, which goes either way, that can be a major advantage toward P4, toward P5. Thieves making a sizable dent as Drazah and Slasher were able to drop the first 2. Clayster falls as well. That's going to be all 3. Still spawning here. Asim doing everything he can to try to hold on to the hill, but it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of moments. John's able to pop in here, and that's going to be the Thieves now walking away with this time.
Yeah, the Thieves doing a great job, man, because you have to keep in mind of that control for that next P4 hardpoint. They're keeping control of the middle of the map. They were causing so many problems for New York not to get a clean full 60 on towards this P3 hardpoint, but now they have to try to break in, and Thieves are going to be set up on this floating tank area. New York already have a 12-point advantage. That lead is slowly starting to decrease as you see HyDra in the position that he is. He's just trying to be a nuisance, trying to find the proper moment to attack this. He's able to find one.
Wow.
Tries to find the second onto Drazah. Such a great play from him. Kenny and Slasher answer with 2 of their own, but New York are able to break in with a good amount of time left on this hard point.
What a break it was. The SMGs going big. They look to try to hold the line now as Mack, his life gets lost, but Asim is still here, still fighting. Nearly at that 200-point mark. Back and forth we go. As now it's the Thieves' turn to try and get something going. But how great has HyDra been? Also from range. Finds 2 in a row to try to wipe away the players from the point. Garrison oftentimes is related around these close quarter fights, and that has absolutely been the case. Final 5 seconds will go the way of Thieves, but it is a 10-point game. Now coming in toward P5, Mack looking to try to heat on up, but it's Drazah from the other side who once again has an influential double.
He's absolutely twisted. The guy's just hitting shots that we don't usually see a lot of people make. As New York, they only find themselves up by 3 seconds. They have the back spawns towards that tank, which is not going to be the best ideal setup for them, but they're doing a great job of just holding right now. Slash is able to eliminate that player off the point. But you got to keep in mind, man, that P5 to P1 chain can be huge, man. The Thieves are doing a great job of just keeping them off this time, or at least keeping it contested down to the wire, as Drazah does find 2. Mack is still in lights. He's not going to fully contest this. As time is starting to tick. With 15 seconds remaining, you're going to see the Thieves players just keeping control of top green. They can still do this off of that P1 hard point. It's all about just finding these kills at the proper time, and a good early one is going to go in favor of John.
Yeah, and you're also happy about that too. If you are NYSL, granted you don't have current map control, but you do have those preferred spawns. For next is HyDra with the quick turn on to Slasher. Gets the information. He's going from the skies. What a play from the French Phenom. My goodness, 29 and 17. 20 points away from sending us to a Game 5. Kylo Ken trying to get the boys going. After what was an electric double, an electric combination there from the Subliners. Now in the backside of their base. Thieves in firm control of this hill, and Slasher, he's thinking about next. He's thinking about the future. AR versus AR, vet versus vet. Slasher is able to win it, and now he's got his team set up. They have a route prepared for next. Nobody gonna win it off of P1. It is all ready for the next hill, and Thieves, they are here despite not having spawns.
They're here, but Asim and Clayster, they're able to find 2 off the rotation, so now that's gonna be 2 players off outside of this place. Slasher's able to find 1. HyDra and Asim are able to eliminate the last 2 players from the Thieves. Clayster finds the 3rd as well. That's going to be a 4 dead. New York are in a position to force this to a Game 5 with 10 seconds remaining. That's all they needed to do it. They played so well throughout this game.
They have, but can Thieves, can they break in? Can they at least try to delay for as long as possible? Drazah just enters in. That's going to be 3. Make it 4. And the Subliners answer back in the hard point. Asim clapping, letting the boys know we've got ourselves a Game 5. A back and forth game from start to finish. But it's the Subliners who just edge out the Thieves. What a game, what a series, and what a turnaround from NYSL.
Unbelievable, man. New York just got heart, fellas. That's what it is, man. And unfortunately, they find themselves, well, not unfortunately, fortunately, they go into a map number 5, man. When they were down 0-2, we went in for the listen, and they sounded completely dead. But obviously, that control, which is the swing mode in every series, has what brought them back to life. They're forcing themselves to go all the way to a Game 5. Great performances right there out of HyDra. Specifically, he is finessing with that submachine gun. He made so many huge plays for his team off the rotations. It was a great job from him, but Also Clayster, man, I'm pretty sure he puts up 32, 33 kills on the map as well. Really slowing down the AR pressure on the opposite side of the map. As you see, Kenny, he's -8. We usually don't see that, but those two players really stepped up to the plate. And now we're going to a game number 5 on Miami Search and Destroy, baby. Oh, it's going to be a good one.
It is, man. What, you called it out. 31 and 24 for Clay. Nearly 6K damage. The vet, the 3-time, going big to bring the Subliners back. What a game it was. What a series it has been. As you mentioned, Stud, the Subliners, they have got heart and they have got passion. Can they complete the reverse sweep, or will it be the Thieves with this new roster bringing in John for the first time? Can they take down a top caliber roster to kick off stage 5? All those questions and more will be answered when we come back after this.
The Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G.
Everybody, and welcome back to day 2 of the New York Subliners home series. It is our final match of the day and our final map of the day to close things out. Thieves v Subliners go into a game 5, and much like Asim, we are all giddy right now. The series living up to the hype, the potential we thought that it could. And one thing to keep in mind, Subliners, they did go down 2-0 to start, but they've shown heart, they have shown passion, and brought this one back. If they were to walk away with this victory, it would be their 3rd reverse sweep of the season. One of those 2 prior actually did come versus the Thieves. So with all those things in mind, let's go ahead and take a look now, Stud, at our game 5 so far throughout this season. We talk about the Subliners, 8-2, more of a well-rounded roster throughout the year. And again, Thieves, 5-4, but this is their 7th different lineup that they've had. How much do you think comes into that overall record for them?
I don't think anything at all, because 5-4, obviously they've been through 7 different rosters. There's been players in and out all over the place, so their record isn't going to really show what this team is fully capable of, at least on this map number 5, especially with this brand new roster. But for New York, they got some ice, man. 8-2, and the good thing about Miami Search and Destroy is that in Moscow Search and Destroy, they were getting dominated because the game was just slowed down.
Yeah.
And on a map like Miami, every single round is going to be slow. So it's all about just taking your time, letting the plays develop, and not making any mistakes. And I feel like this is going to be a great game 5 for both of them. But this is where we see New York show that they're a complete team, and they have reps on this map.
Yeah, and they just look different. Like, as soon as we got into the control, we asked the question, well, was it just kind of a slower moment for the Thieves? Now with this new lineup, Jean into the team, and obviously Drazah now in the SMG category. Like, again, we talked about how many roster changes this roster has visited. Was it just a slower pace in that control? And it really was no. Subliners just have woken up. They have answered the call. They do not want to go down 3-0 to start off their home series. As now we take a look at our quick scope presented by Scump. S&D is going to be the focus, 25-20 on the year for the Subliners, 20-21 here for the Thieves. But I tell you what, man, back and forth. I told you at the start of the series, I said, how likely is it we go to a game 5? You said most likely, very likely. And with the way this one started, I wasn't for sure we were actually going to get here, but tell you what, man, as you mentioned, Subliners showing hard, and I'm just excited to see what Thieves we get in this game 5 type of format. But as we talked about, folks, all of these games are all leading up into champs. What does this mean? What is this about? It is all about this Major 5, all about everything, all the major events we got going down. This is one of them, folks. This is our Major 5 tournament. Our tickets are on sale. You get to be there. Yes, you watching at home, you get to be at this event. It will be at the Esports Stadium in Arlington, Texas. It's going to be an absolute blast, July 31st to August 1st. We would love to see you there. Our first opportunity to have fans back at events again, and it is going to be an absolute pleasure. And really, the question remains, Stud, or where are both of these teams going to sit, specifically the Thieves in regards to the standings, in regards to the group once we get to that 5th major?
It's going to be difficult, man. They showed great signs, at least in their very first 2 maps. It's not like Group A is completely stacked, by the way.
Yeah.
You got FaZe, you got New York, you got LA Thieves. I'm pretty sure you got OpTic in there. Like, it's pretty stacked. So it's going to be really difficult for either one of these teams to start off with a loss because you have to bounce back versus some of the best teams in the game. So for both of these teams, this match is really important. But for the Thieves specifically, because they're currently sitting in that 7th spot. Right now, Minnesota, they were able to take that win, so now they go up to that 6th spot, up by 30 points. But you need to keep that between each other. And you see these stats right here from that game 2. Drazah really taking over, 13-3, 4.33 KD. He needs to have the same performance. The way that they have played their Search and Destroy is just slowing the game down, and hopefully it works for them here. But it's Miami to Search and Destroy, man. Every round is slow.
It definitely is. It, without a doubt, is the case. I know you talk about it often for the Thieves, like that slow, methodical play style absolutely worked in their favor. But now take a look at our CDL points presented by Game Fuel. Obviously what this all means at the end of the day, leading into that 5th major, leading into champs, this is where the points sit for right now. And as you mentioned, Stud, the Thieves sitting in that 7th spot, looking to try and track down the Røkkr, because as we talk about, now that we've got some more information on champs, we do know the information that top 8, of course, do make it to champs, but our top 6 teams will start in the winners. 7th and 8th seed will start in the elimination bracket. So if you're in that top 6, you basically have 2 lives. If you're in 7th and 8th, you only have 1 life. So, I mean, that just kind of intensifies how important this series would be and what a start it could be for this roster as well. A lot of people not not exactly expecting for this Thieves roster to come out and make too much of a dent. I mean, I know a lot of people thought it could be 3-1, maybe 3-2, but I'd say a majority of the predictions, and understandably so, going the way of Subliners. What a massive opportunity this could be for Thieves to start off this stage 5 with all the things they've gone through, with all the roster changes, all of the roster lineup swaps. What a W it could be for this team if they can lock up this game 5. But folks, we're gonna go and throw it to a quick little commercial break. When we come back, it is time for some Miami S&D. Who's gonna walk away with the series? We'll find out. I told you it'd be a quick break. Miami S&D nearly underway. HyDra, unfortunately, having some problems, but it's all good. Hey, HyDra, we forgive you. It's been a great series. You performed well in that hard point. I think we can give the guy a pass. Then what do you say?
Yeah, I think we definitely give him a pass. You know, it's okay. As long as he's able to perform in the search and destroy, we'll give him a pass. But you need to come out and you need to play well because this is game 5, man. You cannot allow the Thieves to build some early momentum with a brand new roster to start off stage 5. You need to come out and win this and show why you guys are back and forth, back in that championship form, as they do have heart, as they were able to fight their way through the series to force it all the way to game 5. HyDra needs to be a big answer here.
Yeah, it is our first game 5 of stage 5. Miami S&D dictate who to start off this stage in the best way possible. Can it be Subliners for the reverse sweep, or can the Thieves, now with John making his debut in a pro match, the first time in nearly 2 years? What a victory it could be. I know JCap is somewhere probably biting his nails the very brim, as this is going to be a fun one. Here we go. I'm just excited, man. I'm just excited to see that if the Thieves can do it again. I mean, like we said, this is a new roster. You totally expect this team at times to almost not perform in the S&Ds given the different look of this group, but the way that they played on that Moscow leaves us to question, leaves it an even playing field. But Clayster walking with that first blood is going to make things quite dicey and not nearly as nice for the attacking team.
Yeah, now the Thieves, they have to fight through one of these bomb sites on a man disadvantage. It's not going to be an easy task to do, especially because there's no trophy systems to even work with. So it's not going to be able to give up positioning if any players are running towards that engineer kind of perk, so they can at least spot those trophies. But this very first round, it's only 35 seconds left. Thieves are approaching over towards this B-bomb site. Asim is going to be here to help as well, as Clayster does have the entire mid-map cross. So they know that this push is coming in towards B. It's only a matter of time before the engagements happen.
HyDra very well could be the first one to lay down some fire. John having that Røkkr in his back pocket. From the alleyway, HyDra able to walk away with the second kill of the round. Drazah uncanny, now left in a man disadvantage. Asim 1, Asim with 2, and there you have it. Subliners answering well, working off of that first blood, sends everybody toward this side of the map, right into the jaws of Asim.
This is a great play right there from New York, and this is where this map can definitely help them in this game mode versus a brand new team, because every round has to be played slow. Right there with Clayster opening up with that first blood, you saw the Thieves players kind of turning up, trying to find an opening through the middle of the map or anything, but Clayster was not giving up a kill. So eventually that push comes in towards B, they stack it, they win the engagement, so now New York are up 1-0, and it's looking like HyDra is actually running in place.
He's doing the moonwalk.
So we might get a reset.
He's doing the moonwalk.
Yeah, we might get a reset.
Yeah, he's just hanging out. No worries, you see him in that little far right corner. Looks like Ant-Man, actually, but it's all good. No issues. Totally kidding, folks. All right, we'll find out what happens, but well, HyDra continues to do the running man. We will see what the Subliners can potentially do. Clayster falls, Drazah with that. We lose HyDra. We will get word on what ends up going down now. We wish the French Phenom could be with us. Here comes the early utility tossed in. Asim really just trying to do anything he can. Given the man disadvantage, we'll find out really if this round actually matters for the Subliners, but obviously want to try to play it out just to be safe, and what a 2 versus 4 clutch would do, if it matters or not, at least for your mentality, as Asim finds 2 kills. Now sits at 4 in a row. He and Mack doing everything everything that they can. Drazah, all he can do is just expire a few shots. Nice long-range bullets. Not gonna be able to take them down, though. That bomb looks to be in a good spot to potentially get dropped. They find themselves a little bit of an angle. Mack takes down Drazah, but here comes John. John with 1. Mack trying to find the fire, but no, the Thieves just managed to walk away with the round. Is it official? I don't know, but you do have to commend the Subliners for nearly getting a 2 versus 4 in what was a very wild end to that 1 versus 1 stud.
Yeah, that was an insane round. If they would have clutched that out, that would have been nuts. Because in a 4v2 situation, especially at that A bomb, you're not expecting for New York players to pick up any kills. But Asim was able to find 2 of those players in towards the top window. Then eventually they had to focus the last 2 players in towards the driveway area. Mack was able to take down 1, but the aggressor from John was able to eliminate Asim as soon as that bomb plant was going to come in. And eventually he finds the 2 kills. Who knows if the round is going to count? Right now it's tied at 1 apiece, and the Thieves responded well. But so far, this Game 5 is living up to the expectations as both of these teams are not trying to make any mistakes.
That's without a doubt. The streets of Miami, somewhat quiet, all focusing in. Everybody's actually in the windows. If you couldn't tell, everybody's actually just peeking out from their blinds, trying to get somewhat of an idea for what the scoreline is. And we're looking to find the exact same answer. As we said, my friend, Miami S&D just being, we're actually getting some information. Okay, so New York will be starting off 1-0. So that last round, I guess, fortunately for the Subliners, in that case, nearly, like we said, actually did the 2 versus 4. That round is not going to count because of HyDra literally doing the running man in spawn. So with that, folks, we do apologize once again for the minor delay. We'll be working out everything we can as fast as possible to make sure that HyDra is good to go. When we come back, it's time for round 2 of our Game 5. Stay with us.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Brand new fudge video.
All of his sponsors made him change it to fudge.
God,
CDL listening. Yeah, they aren't doing comp.
Oh, CDL, hear me.
This is the moment we've been waiting for.
Yo, it's your boy, Adam Assault. Like another video.
You guys talking?
Nope.
Okay.
I can't even hear you. Cam, can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can't hear me.
Most
get out of that! Get out of that!
Come on!
So loud that.
Sorry.
Come on. You good.
Still, I mean, is he loud for you guys?
No.
Not loud for you guys?
No, not really.
Oh, you're good, Trey, you're good.
I'm gonna want to hear you and your callouts.
Yes, yes. Hear him loud and clear.
Yes.
Yes.
Is. Well, let me shoot my gun one more. Like 2 more bots. 3 more.
Hey, you guys keep the confidence that you guys are doing. Make sure you lagged out.
Yeah.
Throw in pains.
100th emoji. 98 plus 2.
I can't do math. Oh, it's f***ing freezing up here, man.
Getting kind of cold, bro.
You'll warm up when you start playing. You won't even feel a thing. You're gonna be in the game.
Yo, put the controller on top of your PC so that it warms up.
That's a good ass call.
Chilly in here.
I think it's just right.
What?
Starting.
It's just right.
CDL host golf.
CDL host golf invited.
CDL host golf.
CDL host golf.
CDL host golf.
Shut the f***. You can't say it twice.
Just don't do that, bro.
I Darth Vader all the time, so just if I start doing it, just tell me Mike.
It's funny because you sound far away when you're saying that.
Yo, Seth, can I get the grip?
Yeah, can I go to the bathroom?
He's gonna move. Yeah? Okay.
Oh, it's up. That's him, I think. Try to check bomb. Check bomb, Alex.
No! Let's go! Yeah!
Absolutely love that series. That was our comms check powered by Astra. Just one of our favorite pieces of content that the CDL does. But folks, if you are just joining us, we do apologize, as our match will resume momentarily, having a few connection problems with HyDra throughout this game, and we will be joining here in just a few moments. Subliners will be starting off this game 5 though, up 1-0. And so I guess at this moment, I want to ask you too, like, you know, when you are in this environment for both of these teams, right? For Thieves, you're trying to get back on the rhythm. Subliners, you're trying to keep that rhythm that you've had in those last 2 maps. Now we kind of have this stall, right? Where we've been off of competition for the last 2.5 weeks. And then now you get in this situation where we've had quite a few pauses, now 5 to 10 minutes where we've yet to see anybody firing their weapons. What does this kind of do in your eyes from your experience to that flow? How do you kind of get back into it? Or rather, how does it affect you?
Well, on the side of New York, when you're a team that's down 0-2 in a series and you're able to bounce back to force it all the way to a game 5, this little break can definitely hurt you because all momentum is basically going to go out the window. Every single ounce of energy that you guys had has to be brought back to life. And on the opposite side for the Thieves, this is the best thing that could possibly happen because when you lose 2 maps straight, you need a little mental reset. So this is going to be good for them. The only thing is now they're down 0-1 in this map number 5. So they need to be able to discuss between each other on like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to attack it. So it gives them a little bit more time to get a little bit more strategic in this game. But if you're in New York, you just need to be able to answer with that momentum, at least early into these rounds, because it's all in their favor right now.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And as we mentioned, Subliners, despite what was kind of a chaotic, I guess you could say, round number 2, that round does not count. It will be NYSL up 1-0 throughout this game. So just keeping all of that in mind, we'll be looking through the eyes of the Subliners as we are ready to go, underway, praying HyDra's connection stays solid. But here we go. Thieves on the defense. And as we mentioned, focus kind of being on them. The momentum, slowing things down. Like what this could do for this roster, this new group of 4. A lot of experience in their camp. It is the quick 3-1 start for the Subliners. Bomb actually being made toward B, but the decent amount of noise is toward Waterside.
Yeah, you just got to keep in mind of HyDra also has that bomb, so he's going to be that player all the way across the map. He's not able to get into this play, but Kenny's able to find that first blood onto Asim. So now it's a 3v4 man advantage in favor of the Thieves. A couple shots coming in from Mack to try to eliminate Kenny from this backside, but you see Clayster now with the man advantage. They have to try to help out HyDra to get out of this position as Mack is going to solely focus on Kenny. With 25 seconds left, they eventually have to work this, and push is going to come in towards B. It's all about if Mack can stay alive or at least find 1 kill before dropping.
Unfortunately, he will not. Into the 2 versus 4 Subliners. Kind of that left in a pretty awkward spot, but Drazah, how about the challenge there on to Clay? And thank his good graces there for the headshot, as now it is all on to HyDra. And Drazah is there to take him down as well. Great work coming through from the Thieves, holding things down in the retake, and also not being sold too much by the bait toward the water side, toward the beach side. It's Thieves 4 up and 4 alive. Nobody dropping, and they level things up at 1-1.
Yeah, just a great play right there from the Thieves, and this is where we saw them on that map number 2. The slow rounds tend to help them, especially on their defenses. They can just let the play develop on the side of New York and eventually play for the counter or eventually play for that pinch. That's exactly where they have seen success so far with this new roster. So now the game is tied up at 1 apiece, with LA Thieves going back on the offense. We saw their A push was shut down early with the early first blood coming in from Clayster onto Slasher. Now, how do they respond? They finally have some trophy systems to work with. So the Thieves are looking like they're going to try to at least gain some information towards the middle of the map. But you see number 7 in John. That bomb carrier is going to be taking his sweet time towards lower garage.
Somewhat of a similar setup. NYSL last run. Not exactly the same, but same principle is there. Play peppering everybody up to start. Getting through the mid-street. What an angle this could be for the attacking team. But if that bomb has to rotate, really if, player 8, player 6, that being Slasher and Drazah, if they want to try to make their way back toward B, Kenny being a primary piece in terms of their setup. But as we talked about coming into this Miami, how slow the rounds can be and how much, if you're the Thieves, that you want to play this way. With time ticking down, John, he's got to make a decent trek. Granted, they do have mid-map covered. He will get here with somewhat plenty of time, but one player is going to be here. That's Asim. He's able to drop Drazah for the start into the 3-on-3. Kenny trying to make something happen, but he gets tagged up as well. It's a 1 versus 3 toward this side, and Asim is doing everything he can. He's holding on to this one by himself. And Thieves, they still have a lot of work to do. They have to go for the plant, but they're not going to be able to do that. HyDra and Mack, as long as they stay alive, they are good. And despite having half of the lobby alive, the Subliners get the round, and Clayster is letting them know.
Asim, what a great play from him. He was able to find the first kill and then almost finds the second onto Kenny, but he did such a great job at just putting down a couple shots onto Kenny. Eventually, the comms come in on the side of the Thieves. John tries to drop down and find that kill, but unfortunately, he jumps over the wrong wall, and Asim is able to find that 2-piece to not allow them to eventually get that bomb plant. But you see, we have another timeout going on. Hopefully, it's not HyDra. But right now, keep in mind, New York are sitting at up in this game 2-1.
Yeah, there indeed, and that was a huge moment there for Asim. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really notice too much movement there from a HyDra. It may have escaped me a little bit, but obviously Asim goes big for the team, and you saw Clayster getting loud, and that very well could have been for the fact that HyDra maybe having some continual problems, and despite maybe being in a 3 versus 4, again, not guaranteed, but potentially by not having everybody ready and squared away, Clayster is letting his teammates know that they just went big. Take a look at the sights and sounds of Miami. I'd love to be there right now, so that'd be fun. Nice little trip to Miami Beach.
It's beautiful, man.
Not sure if I'd want to go to this version of Miami, though. A little bit chaotic, you know? A little bit chaotic. Looks nice, though, you know?
Yeah, it's nice. You know, I might, put my feet into the sand, sit right there next to the boat. Hopefully, I'm able to own that boat eventually, But Miami's beautiful, man. Especially this map. Even though it's humongous, just has so many bright colors that just keeps you focused into the map, and I love it. I love it. Even though it's really slow, I love it for Search and Destroy.
I do, man. It is, without a doubt, like one of the most visually pleasing maps that we've had, I feel like, in a very long time. Maybe even throughout Cold War. I mean, I've heard someone say, like, Moscow. Come on, Miami, it's absolutely gorgeous. Are you kidding? Folks, we do apologize. We do apologize for the issues that we have been having. We're still figuring things out. I actually just saw HyDra has left the lobby. So with that in mind, looking to try to iron some things out. NYSL currently up 2-1 in this Game 5 S&D. Make sure to stay with us as we'll be back with the continuation of this Miami S&D right after this break.
You think he's gonna stop here? You think you can stop aBeZy?
As Neptune decides to chow this, instantly enters on in, and that's going to be a trade won by Florida. Gets the read onto HyDra as well, and how about this start from Neptune? 6-0, finally gets shut down, but to no avail. His impact is left in these first 2 rounds. Can it be a 1 versus 3 clutch for the new guy?
So now Decimate with 35 seconds left. He knows that the bomb is going to be down towards the speed bomb. How does he decide to approach this? Let's attack to the middle. Unfortunately, he gets caught in a nade, but the stick is going to come in, so the bomb is not going to go down. It's a 1v1 versus Awakening. He puts some early bullets into him, so he's going to have the advantage in this gunfight. It's all about just keeping that pressure. He has the assault rifle. You have to challenge up close and personal, and Decimate going huge for New York.
Going quick, they're close to 2. Nades coming in, they deal with the trophy. They have time though. They have time. Who's lurking though? Who is lurking? Oh, it's about. Hello? That's a hello.
Oh, wow. He just gave him a little kiss on the cheek.
What was that?
I have no idea. Joe Shotzzy's on 5 in a row, and Empire will win the round. 24 more points, and they're back to a final. But Empire, they still got some life.
Hey, Shotzzy sneaks on through. He's able to take down 2. But while there's an opening on one side, there's an opening on the other. So it could have been up to about 240, but Shotzzy, he gets some of that time and gets him off of it. And now they have a really good setup. Empire can win it here.
All this time, the way of Empire now in front. The lead changed to Empire and still the opportunity to close it out. But if he just gets the contest here for a moment.
Not enough. It's not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. I thought a couple more seconds.
That's what they were trying to play for. They were trying to play for it.
Oh no. Oh no. Empire. They can push it to a map 5. There's still enough time on the hard point. Ultra got to get in for a contest for another second. But the crossfire is there. And Empire take the map 4. We're headed to another map 5 between these 2 teams.
Now the only thing here, look at Formal, a little bit of a different position. It's not all 4 players down low. He's going to try and work someone on the flank. He's able to find but criminally the Kriegs. They're able to get 2 headshots. They know that Formal is gone. Vivid. Ooh, I think that's a bit of an over challenge. Envoy, he goes to the defensive side. Nobody able to check the bomb. Crim ready for it. Nice shots. Criminally now going to find all 4 kills.
This is Formal for the ace. 3rd, 4th. iLLeY wrapped back, and it's Formal with the ace.
Shotzzy goes on a flank, shuts him down. Toward the end, iLLeY, if he does not pick up those 2 kills, like those are the most 2 valuable kills of the map, because that forces FaZe's hand. Ridiculous play called and ridiculous Tyler. The 3-piece towards the middle of the map. What the hell of a way to start out this round as he's wiping the team.
You think he's done now? You think he's gonna stop here? You think you can stop aBeZy? Oh my God!
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are just learning some more information on what, in fact, is going down. So, the information that I've been told is that New York, currently in this Game 5, have officially used or are in the process of using their 10-minute tech timer. In that process, they're looking to bring in a substitute player, and it appears that that player is going to be Diamondcon. That's all that we really know up to this point, is that they're just trying to get a hold of Diamondcon, going through his tests. And HyDra is also attempting to test his server internet from a number of different directions. That's all I really know, because I'm just being told information. HyDra's trying to get online. Diamondcon is also trying to get in line. NYSL is trying to work within that 10-minute window to do the best that they possibly can. So with that, NYSL up 2-1 in this S&D. So that I came into this talking to you about how, the pace kind of gets slowed down a little bit, how that kind of affects you. But now, I guess, from the subliner side, you legitimately have no idea who your 4th is going to be, and you play in just a matter of moments, and you're in the middle of an S&D. I mean, you're literally in the middle of a search and destroy Game 5.
Yeah, this is difficult, man. Like, just when I thought New York couldn't face any more adversity, they find themselves in another situation here where they potentially have to play with a sub, man. Even though they're up 2-1 on this map number 5, the vibes are just going to be completely different, man, because when you swap out one of your players, especially in such an intense series that they are in, it's going to completely throw off the vibe. And hopefully it doesn't cost them too much to where they have the potential to lose this map number 5, but this hurts for them, man. This has got to hurt.
Yeah, it definitely has. So I'm being told that HyDra, it's basically kind of a race. Like whoever kind of is able to get their connection working better to the lobby first, or rather can be successful, is kind of going to be the fourth of New York. It appears that it could be HyDra for the moment. So like I said, we are trying to get you guys as much information as possible. Like I said, we're literally just figuring everything out literally as you do. So like we said, they may have HyDra, they may not. Regardless if you're the Subliners, it has to be a stressful situation. And again, for the Thieves, I mean, I guess it is kind of annoying that you constantly have to stop and start, but this could be, like I said, a great situation for them because they are literally learning how this group of 4 is going to work. An entirely new SMG line. John, obviously, in his comeback to this roster, obviously it's more frustration than anything for both of these sides, but I guess for the Thieves, I mean, like I said, you're able to kind of work through things a little bit. You're still trying to figure things out, and I guess this is kind of a nice little crash course, unintended crash course for you.
Yeah, this is exactly what the Thieves needed right here. And if I'm JCap, I'm throwing on a VOD on the big screen immediately, just trying to get some more information on how New York decided to play this map, man, because still, it's going to be fairly new to them. Even though they've done a lot of homework on New York, they can make plays that can counter some of those plays. So they have time to develop a little bit more of those strategies. So this can work out a lot better for the Thieves side than it will for New York. New York are just in shambles right now. Hopefully HyDra's able to make his way back.
No, I think I heard this right, but I think I was told that HyDra, because of like location, I'll be honest with you, I really don't know how the whole process works. I'm just trying to feed you guys the information. But I think he's actually gonna be playing on like a Paris host or something like. I legitimately don't know, but like I said, it's just there's information, and there you have it. I'm just here for the people study. I'm here just to give information, trying to try to fire things out. Apparently, right now they're checking his settings. There you go, stud. You happy?
HyDra's the Flash. He's the Flash. He's the Flash, man. If he's at a different location, he went from literally Texas to Paris. The guy's literally running so fast just to try to get back into this match for his team. He doesn't want to be the opportunity. I mean, the reason why they're not able to close this game 5. He's trying everything in his power, going to different apartments, different countries, different states, doesn't matter. He just wants to get back into this game if you're HyDra.
He's just looking for a number of different outlets. Like, does this one work? Does this one work? Let me flip this router on. Let me go plug this in. Let me do that. Like I said, he's a man of many talents. He can slay with the best of them, and he's hopefully going to be getting to this lobby very, very soon. One of the longer series that we've had in CDL history. Like I said, man, this has been a great series overall. I know we've had a number of different timeouts and connection issues, obviously with HyDra, which at times can be unavoidable, and we do apologize for that. But this series, man, has lived up to the hype. It's lived up to the expectations. We thought it could go to a game 5. The Thieves come through early, and they answer so well. They shock us in the hard point. They look so well coordinated in that S&D. And just when we start to count out the Subliners, count out this team, we talk about, hey, if they were to get 3-0 sweeped, where would this team kind of be placed in the overall standings? And right amongst the questions that are going on literally live in the middle of a match, they're able to reply back and send us now to a game 5. So really just both teams putting it all out on the line, which is what you really want to see, man. It's really what you want to see, especially in the lead up toward that 5th major. But I'm looking toward my monitor.
I think HyDra's back. Lay down.
I think HyDra's back. I see him. I see him in the lobby. I physically see his player model. Clayster's player model is looking at HyDra's player model in the game itself, and I think he's giving him a pep talk, potentially, possibly, maybe,
possibly. He's got to be doing something, man. He was just crouching, but as soon as HyDra entered the game, he stood up. He's like, "Hey, you're back, man. You're back. Listen." We need to just get over with this game 5. We went through so many things just to get to this position, coming back from an 0-2 series, winning such an insane map number 4, to now put ourselves in a position to potentially close out this series. And we need you, Paco Taco. You need to be here for me, man. I'm your father, and you're my son. I need you, baby. And hopefully HyDra is able to make his way back into this game.
I hope so, man. I really hope so, as you said, Paco Taco. Oh goodness, I love the content that's coming out of the Subliner. He was trying to say New York slang terms, or rather just New York terms. I think it was.
Oh, that was funny.
That was amazing.
That was funny.
I absolutely love that. I'm sure probably not we talk about New York slang. Maybe not the greatest of words probably coming through from the comms right now at HyDra. Possibly some frustration, and understandably so. But I think HyDra's just hanging out in spawn. Like I said, the players are legitimately just looking at each other. It looks as if they're having a conversation in the game itself. And that very well, stud, could be the next level of synergy and chemistry that you're looking for.
That's next level. That's next level. They're all crouching in sync right now. They're swooping out to the Diamante. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. They're all in sync right now. It's just all about getting into this game, man. Please, HyDra, please, come back.
What do you think's going through Clayster's mind right now?
Clayster's probably thinking like, well, we've been tossed a lot of adversity throughout this entire year. What's another one got to do with it, man? Like, New York have just faced so many things this year, man, when it comes to Asim not being able to make it to the major. Obviously, early roster changes in the beginning of the season, but the game is starting, Lando.
Yes!
It's starting.
Yes! Just woke up my entire apartment complex. Why would they be asleep at 5:30? I have no idea, but they're awake now. Here we go. Subliners up 2-1. Here in this game 5 has been filled with all of the hype, excitement. It's been a blockbuster type of affair, an action, a comedy, and maybe even a little bit of horror from time to time. But here we go into next to offensive round for the Subliners. Been some time since all the players have activated here on Miami, but we are here and ready to go. In the first player who could be in the line of fire is going to be Slasher. Nades tossed out. Currently weak, giving that information over to his squad mates. It is 3 deep here at the beach, and Slasher somehow alive, sitting on 14 HP. Trying to fire out with the Krig, but he is yet to get anything. HyDra's still hanging out. He goes for the challenge, so the trade is in. Meanwhile, it's Mack over at the yacht who's able to lay down some fire as well. A quick 3-3 trade, but Thieves are now aware of the push, and Asim is moments away from potentially getting that bomb down. But how about the sneak play? Clayster there with the read.
And now with 25 seconds left, it gives them the opportunity to try to rotate this bomb towards that B site. But they're going to commit towards this. Clayster is actually going to fight right through the middle of the map, just trying to get into this action with his teammates. The comms are going to come in. They are able to spot John. So now it's all up to Kenny, and they know exactly his positioning. So you're going to see Clayster being a little bit aggressive towards this top building. They know they're trying to trap him, as Kenny is sitting at 3-0, working towards some streaks. They need to try to locate this kill if you're NYSL. And right there, great shots from Asim, but it was just the early work from New York, not getting too aggressive. We saw the positioning right there out of Slasher. Some early shots. They knew exactly where he was, but HyDra was not trying to rush that unless he could guarantee the kill, because Kenny had that line of sight, so even where Slasher dropped, he would have the trade. Even though it went out in that favor, Clayster being the island player, finding that kill all the way across the map, and then getting back to his teammates to give those extra comms really helped New York right there. So now New York are up 3-1. On this map, number 5.
I feel like that has to be somewhat frustrating if you're the Thieves. Like, we legitimately waited for this long, and the player that makes the overall difference to start is HyDra. Like, we basically waited all that time to just start off this round the way that we did, but it's trades back and forth toward bottom purple. Slasher taking the head off of Asim, and now it will be Clayster all by himself, a 1 versus 2. The duo of Kenny and Slasher. It is all out Krigs. It is all out ARs. Kenny felt up for the start, but it is Slasher who is there for the trade. Clayster trying to be all kinds of sneaky inside of the garage, but he does get dealt with.
Yeah, some early aggression right here from Asim. I don't really like this challenge because it's not really a challenge that's going to be in your advantage. Slasher, he's going to be put outside of the head glitch. All he has to aim down is your head. So everything shot into your body is going to be a headshot. So easy kill for Slasher. I would have liked to see him to just get that kill and back down, play the 2v2 a little bit better. But the Thieves, they're able to respond, now sitting down on the map 3-2. With New York back on the offense. Asim currently sitting at 5-3. Everyone else a breadstick across the board for New York. But this is going to be a 2-2 split, as 2 players are going to be camping towards B. I'm expecting Mack and HyDra to try to cause a lot of noise over here towards this A bomb and then free up that B bomb site for his teammates.
And I believe before the reset too, Asim was, I want to say, like a 2-0, 3-0, something like that. So it has been a great Miami performance for Asim. Really, he has been the primary player who has turned his performance around from games 3 through 5, at least so far throughout this 5th. Has been lights out, but it's a 2-2 spread for the Subliners. Information is being felt on both sides of the map, so LAT are left to be guessing. And that is a great kill that Asim's able to find there onto John, but does get found out by Drazah. He's actually toward top piano, and Slasher is there for the beatdown, but appeared to be a great position for the Subliners. It's right underneath their grasps, as now HyDra left in the 1 versus 3, trying to get some info, but Drazah is there. And again, my friend, what appeared to be a great situation for Subliners, they find the trade once again is ruined by the Alaskan assassin himself, Drazah, there to spoil the party.
Yeah, and right there, it was just a great play from Drazah. If you're New York, you're thinking once we find that one kill on that A bomb site, we caused so much noise over there towards that opposite bomb that we forced them to hit the rotation. But once they find that kill, Drazah was in a great position in towards top purple. He was able to eventually find one and then find the last kill to close it out. So now the game is tied up all at 3 apiece between both of these amazing teams. As Clayster still sitting on 1 and 4. This is their island player. This is their veteran leader. Not having the Game 5 performance that we expect him to. Still time to improve on that. Early shots coming in from Kenny. Not able to take down Clayster. Still in a 4v4 with a minute left. The Thieves are just trying to find an opening.
And if you're Subliners, you are also trying to find that first blood, but giving too much information away very well could decide the round just in that first engagement. I believe it was HyDra who was actually shot at there from Drazah in Slasher to make their way up toward the water side, toward beach. Kenny taken just outside of the piano shop. That'll be his final resting place. Slasher through the window also has something to say to HyDra. Now toward the alley we go, and John, after a long waiting attempt over at B, tries to clear the way for his teammates, but once again, it is Asim that caused the issues, but it now turns into a one-on-one John
he can't plant
versus Asim, and as you called it, the plant cannot come in. Asim just needs to stay alive and play his life. John looking everywhere he can. Where is Asim at? Where is he hiding? And he's not going to be able to find him. Such great plays there from Asim to cut down the players who were on the rotation. John worked so long to be able to free up his teammates there as Asim continues to add to his scoreline, and he will provide a big round once more for the Subliners.
And that was such a great round right there from the Thieves. When John found that kill onto that player at B, the whole bomb site opening, but Asim put himself in a great position to get that player off the rotation and then eventually find the second. And then he knows. So at the very end of that round, it came down to a manhunt. It's all about playing hide and seek, and Asim played it well. So now New York, they find themselves up 4-3 on this map number 5 with an aggressive B push coming in. And this is something that we love to see out of New York. This is where they see a lot of the success in Search and Destroy, is just being aggressive. So HyDra, he's going to be this player approaching top purple. He's going to be able to spot one, opens up with the early first blood. Now it's all left up to one player in John to try to eliminate all of them. But HyDra's going to be able to find 2. And now New York have full B-bomb control.
Not even his internet can take him down. HyDra taking down 2 to start. It's the SMG line from the Thieves. They're going to feel the pain. The French Phenom going big, but it's Slasher who's able to return some fire. He and Slasher look to do some work. Mack has to be careful not to reveal too much, but HyDra, once more, that's going to be the 3rd of the round, and now it all comes down to Kylo Ken. 24 seconds left. Clayster toward one side, Mack from one side, HyDra from the other. Subliners off of some wonderful play coming in from HyDra, despite going through all the problems. We talk about players who are frustrated. The number one player who has to be frustrated in the lobby is HyDra. I don't even know what kind of connection he's playing on, but escapes with a handful of HP in that situation, gets the hat trick, and gives the Subliners now what is a solid advantage, now up 5-3 in our Game 5.
And they're going to be on a defense too. So this is great for New York as the Thieves have to try to work on their offensive pushes. This is something with a new team. It's going to be not a early thing to get done, to develop some strategy. But Kenny able to open up with the first blood onto Mack. It looked like New York were trying to attack through the middle of the map. And this is where Asim is able to attack. He's able to get one. And this is a little bit different this time around as he gets one and he doesn't commit towards the second gunfight. Keeps the man advantage even at 3v3.
Oh, and HyDra. I was like, for a second, I was like, is he about to shoot? Maybe take down his own teammate. Got a little bit worried there. Just the angle. No worries. Into the engagement, Drazah able to win it. Now the call is on to Asim. Has to try to back away, and he actually is able to stay alive. But the big moment in the game it is for the Subliners is they just look to try and reference back. It's going to be so frustrating for Slasher. He knows that Clay is toward the backside of the street. But can he take him down? He does! A big gunfight win there for Slasher, but where is Asim hiding? 20 seconds on the clock. What can they do? Asim thinks they might have gone for the rotation over at A. Unfortunately for him, that is not at all where they were, but this could be the great angle. Tosses over the utility. Slasher is watching. Does not stop the plant. Drazah gets it down. Both players looking at him. Finds the first. Not able to find the second. It got a little bit scary there for a moment, but Drazah's able to hold the line. You see a little bit of the frustration there from Asim. What a clutch it could have been. Doesn't get the read, but makes it oh so close regardless. Look how low Drazah was.
That was an insane round, man. Like, that almost happened right there for Asim. Like, he uses the tactical perfectly, bounces the stun over the wall, and eventually finds that kill on the Slasher. And Drazah, he was one shot. All you have to do is hit him probably once or twice, but some great jump shots coming in from Drazah to keep his team in the game. Don't forget, New York are still sitting up 5-4 in this map number 5. Now, New York back on the offense. You got to look at it. Like, Asim and HyDra are putting the team on their back right now. This is going to be another slow push over towards the speed bomb. This time around, though, the Thieves have 3 players over here on this site. Just have to keep in mind what kind of information he can give his teammates from that top balcony window is going to be Clayster. They're just playing this round nice and slow, not trying to give any openings to the Thieves players.
Once more, Clay and Slasher meeting each other in the middle side of the map. The streets of Miami. Echoing out with Craig shots. It's just a matter of where that bomb is located. And if that bomb is going to be rotated, it appears that that very well could be the case. You see 2 players that are hanging out toward middle map. Slasher not currently with the angle, but sitting toward top visitors is going to be Kenny. They try to test it, and it does not work out. Asim had the bomb, and now with 20 seconds left, Subliners have got to get something going. HyDra with the call. Able to take down Slasher on the trade. Clayster, meanwhile, is able to grab the bomb off the ground. Can he get the plant done in time? Drazah able to drop 1 into the 3 versus 2. Clay not able to get the trade, and HyDra will fall. And just like that, what has been a long series now gets extended the full way. That we are headed to a round 11 to find out who's going to walk away with it.
There's no better way. There's no better way to end this series, man. Through every single piece of adversity to get all the way to this point, there's no better ending to this series between both of these great teams, as you're going to have the Thieves on the offense, New York on the defense. How do the Thieves decide to approach this round? A 4-3 for Drazah, leading the pack right now for the Thieves. It's looking like they're going to have 2-2 split. It's all about who's going to be able to give that early information to his team. But Asim is in a great spot to at least cause some issues to any players from the Thieves trying to rotate over towards this beach side. But just keep in mind, look at John, once again with that bomb, slowly playing towards bottom garage.
Really, when you're in this situation, when you're in this final round, both teams just not wanting to make a mistake. PaulEhx players not wanting to be the reason why the series ends up going the opposite way based off of those arrows. John not giving any information, and I guess for the Thieves, you could take that as good information at that. Not too much noise being made from NYSL over at B. Meanwhile, it is a 2-2 split for them. Nades, utility, tossed out to start. John with the bomb. Now the Subliners are made aware, but how much work can the Thieves get done? Over toward the garage, utilizing the van as cover. HyDra tosses out the nade. Is it going to cause enough damage, though, for John? No. Plant is in. Now it all comes into NYSL. How can they make the retake? Could it be on to HyDra? He has to go for the challenge early. Does it work out? It does. Clayster there, able to take down Kenny. John drops on the bomb. It is Clayster going big. That's going to be 2 for him. Drazah's position is known, but where is Slasher? Where is Slasher hiding? Could he make the overall difference as 25 seconds is left? Mack is trying to find him. 20 seconds. Slasher looks to lay down some fire, takes down Mack for the first, and they have to get on the bomb. 15 seconds. Asim, he's running in the defuse. No one from the Thieves are looking to challenge. Can they get here in time? Can anybody take him down? They do. The Thieves are able to walk away with them both. on the defuse. What a game and what an end. A 2 versus 2, moments away were the Subliners from getting the ninja. Oh my goodness. And you see what it means to both teams. Absolute hype from the Thieves. An unfortunate devastation there for the Subliners. What a closeout and what an end as the Thieves, with the debut in the most dramatic of ways, walk away with a well-deserved victory.
Insane series from both teams, but you can just see that these players, they're all just standing there with their hands to the side like, we really just did that? That's what we just did, a 4v2 situation to close out the very ending round, man. Such an insane play from Slasher and Drazah, just staying alive towards the outskirts of the map. I feel like that play really comes down to the aggressive chow from Mack, because Mack is in a position to where they don't know where he is, but he aggressively challenges Slasher, forces it to a 2v2 with only 15, 17 seconds left, and eventually the double chow is going to come in towards that bomb. New York know that they have to work this defuse. You cannot go chase those kills, and that's just something that the Thieves kept in their back of their mind, man. The veterans came out to play today, and they are able to walk away with this series in a 3-2 fashion with a fairly new roster, man. This Thieves team is unbelievable.
They absolutely are. We'll get to take a look at the reaction once more. Oh my goodness. I mean, let's just watch. When you just see from the Thieves side, Drazah getting loud, the team just relieved that they got the win, and the Subliners, it's got to be a frustrating loss. We talked about HyDra just having the connection problems, trying to get things going. They were up, obviously, at one point, I think it was like 5-3 in this S&D, and just not able to close things out. Subliners, they had it. They thought that they were good, but it's the Thieves' turn. Now in the spotlight, as we said, 9 roster changes, 7 different lineups. And I know that there was a number of different, things of drama going down in regards to the connection and things of that nature, but what a win it has to be. I mean, obviously, if you're Thieves, you're taking the W and you're happy with it, but what a win that it is. Oh my goodness. Let's go and take a look back at this one, my friends. Let's break it down, the round 11 here for our Scump play of the game.
So right here, this is just great information early picked up from John, because there's no trophy systems at this B-bomb site, so they're going to be able to get their trophies down with ease. John was able to get this bomb down. He eats 2 nades. I don't know how he did that. The guy's an MVP for a reason. But then right here is where early challenge comes in from HyDra. Obviously, the trade is there, but Clayster is able to find the second. And when there's 30 seconds left, you know exactly the positioning of Drazah. I feel like New York just didn't take advantage of it. They all tried to challenge him from the front side instead of trying to be aggressive to push him out. And this is where Slasher eventually gets in this play. He pre-fires the bomb. He knows that no one's going to be on it, but it wins a huge one-on-one engagement versus Mack. And now that forces New York to make one play and one play only. Asim, you have to hop it. Clayster's got to try to watch over you, but the double challenge comes in at the nick of time to eliminate him from that position, and the Thieves are able to walk away with it, man. Just well coordinated on that last round for the Thieves to make sure that you're playing your life. Great plays out of Drazah, but Slasher really jumping back into that play is what won him that game, and the Thieves walk away with it in a 3-2 fashion. What an unbelievable series that was.
What an unbelievable series, and what an unbelievable end. You've got to give a lot of props to Drazah and Slasher in that situation. And what a victory it is. They had to work for this victory today, getting the Game 5 win over NYSL. And now up next, they will have the London Royal Ravens to face off against. Shortly after that, Atlanta FaZe, Paris Legion, and to close out the stage, it is going to be a great rivalry type of match facing off against OpTic Chicago. And I think it's fair to say, man, excited to see what this team can do. Like we said, they started off this series so incredibly well. I know they have a little bit of the drop-off in the control. New York, without a doubt, woke up. But you have to think, what can the Thieves do throughout the remainder of this stage 5? Same thing can be said now for NYSL. Not off to the start that they probably would have thought that they would be in, dropping this first series to the Thieves in a heartbreaking type of way. They've got OpTic up next, London Royal Ravens, Paris Legion, and to close out their stage, they will be having a very solid opponent in the Atlanta FaZe. And well, we're taking a look at our Astro Social soundboard. Now, I believe that HyDra actually went over, funny enough, to the Paris headquarters here in Dallas, because he actually had to play from their setup. His setup was not working, internet problems, whatever it may be. He actually had to play from Paris's setup, which is kind of funny considering, you get the connection there. So, funny to see, Scraps. We appreciate the nice pick. And obviously it has to hurt considering all the things that they went through just to have that round 11 loss. But I'll tell you what, man, we won today. We won today. We got a great series despite all of the issues that we had. We deserved it. Us as the fans, we deserved it. We did.
Yeah, it was a great series from both of these teams, man. But you got to just tip the hat to the Thieves players because this is a fairly new roster. And the fact that they beat one of the top 4 teams, or at least a team that we consider to be in the top 4, in 2 search and destroys on your very first CDL match for John and just a fairly new roster, that's insane, man. This team has so much potential in such a short time. And just starting off like that, winning 2 search and destroys, winning 1 hard point. Obviously, you got to go back and perfect your hardpoint game, perfect your control, but that was just such a great answer out of the gates for that LA Thieves roster. Winning 2 search and destroys versus a great team in New York, they're looking good, man. They're looking good.
They absolutely are. And I'm going to ask you, right? We talked about it, John, the major story coming into this series. It is his debut. It had been, just under 2 years since he made his debut. What'd you make of his return now back to competitive play?
I loved it, man. I love watching John with that SMG. There's so many players nowadays, even some of the rookies that made their appearance this year, like Fire. When John won that world championship, Fire was 12 years old. So a lot of these players look up to John as one of the best SMG players of all time. And just watching him play, getting back into the rhythm of things, obviously there's a couple things he needs to work on, but man, the guy's a legend for a reason, MVP for a reason, and I'm excited to have him back.
Without a doubt, excited to have this guy back, a world champion and one of the greatest SMGs of all time. He is the newest change for the Thieves, and he will be joining Lottie after this quick break.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew Game Fuel. Pre-order the new Courageous Sherbet flavor now on GameFuel.com while supplies last. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
It's time for your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight, and joining me this time round, I have John from LA Thieves. John, first of all, man, welcome back. It is good to see you back on our screens. We're all delighted to have you here for the LA Thieves roster. How good does it feel to be back playing Call of Duty at this competitive level, man?
I mean, it feels great. Honestly, I miss it a lot.
We miss you, man. We definitely miss you. Now, there have been some rumors, right, that you actually had a few offers from a couple of different teams that you turned down before joining LA Thieves. What was it about the LA Thieves team that really enticed you to take it?
I mean, the main reason I was turning down offers, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be talking about this, but it is what it is, was because those teams, not going to name the teams, but they had no chance at playing at champs. So when 100 Thieves hit me up, LA Thieves, they obviously have a chance to play at champs.
Love
and I get
hear
to play with
that, man.
Slasher again.
I was going to ask, hey, your teammates, obviously, Slasher, yourself, even JCap coaching you. It's good to be back with the boys. Is it nice to kind of have that familiarity coming through?
Oh, 100%. Makes it nice and easy.
I like that. We like to hear it's easy, especially being an LA Thieves fan. Now, you've been playing COD for such a long time and you have so much experience. But aside from you coming in, getting plays, getting the kills, what do you personally want to do? What kind of impact do you want to have on this team overall?
Honestly, I just want to bring in wins and bring up the good vibes on this team, you know? I just want to be the best player and teammate I can be for this team and just get some dubs.
Now I see why they brought you on, John. Some say, apparently there's rumors, some say that 4 weeks for you guys isn't enough time to gel as a team. What do you say to those people?
I mean, it isn't a lot of time, but we're putting in the work every day and we're seeing a lot of results and that's just not going to stop. So it might not be a lot of time, but we're going to work with what we got.
John, your honesty is refreshing. It is also good to see you back, just absolutely killing it as usual. So thank you so much for your time and best of luck heading through the rest of the stage.
Thank you.
Well, there we have it. We've heard from the new sub for the LA Thieves, John. I am so excited to see this guy back on our screens. He has done an incredible job so far. And LA Thieves take down New York Subliners at their own home series. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, we are going to head to a break, but I promise you, we are going to be coming back with pure fire on the desk. We have Nameless and Study breaking everything down from today and what we are going to be looking forward to heading into tomorrow.